Hi, Francine. Look, I'm going to be a little late getting into the office this morning. Yeah, well, look, I'm sorry. Something came up, okay? Yeah. Bye-bye. Oh, Barbara. Julie and Max are in such a mess. But they're going to straighten it out. They will.
Do you really believe that?
I'm trying to.
How could Julie do a thing like that? She's married. You just don't fool around with another man. It's against everything family stands for. It's against everything we've been taught. I mean, if everybody wanted...
shut up.
You mean you condone it?
I don't know what to do. I'm trying to think constructively.
Mom, she's wrong.
Great, she's wrong. What the hell good does that attitude do?
Don't get mad at me. I'm your pure daughter. Shy, frustrated, stupid, and pure.
You forgot short and wimpy.
Sorry. I don't know how to deal with this either. I can't believe my own sister would sleep with some strange man. I mean...
Forgot my homework. I mean, the one time I get it done, I sure don't want to forget it. Are you guys meditating or something?
Alex, go get your homework.
Right, homework, right. What strange man?
Alex.
Did you see that gorgeous blonde that he...
Does it suddenly seem very quiet in here to you?
I can't believe that blonde Amazon that my husband left with. I have to put up with that all the time. Maybe I won't have to anymore. Max is gone. That was the dumbest thing I ever did, telling him about my affair.
Telling him about your affair. Yeah. Having it wasn't a stroke of genius.
Mom, you don't know what it's like. At 200 flights a year, that means last year Max had 1,600 stewardesses.
Had 1,600 stewardesses?
On his flights.
You counted stewardesses?
Well, what else am I supposed to do when I'm home alone?
Except get into bed with Harvey.
Harold. And that was a cheap shot.
It was a cheap act.
Now look.
I got my homework. I'm gonna be going now.
All right, listen, the both of you. I think it's
Right, I was in. When I'm out, don't worry about it. I'm out.
Okay. Now, where were we?
Hear anything good?
No, not in there. No, not in there. See, I was just...
Getting caught.
Yeah.
We have strict rules in this building about the rights of privacy of others.
Sorry.
Besides, cupping your rear against the door ain't gonna do it. And aside. What you need is the Snyder counterintelligence kit. Like this.
What were you doing?
I was just checking to see if the wood was cured. Another 4 or 5 months, I think.
Here. Thanks.
Now you see what you did?
No. Something weird is going on in there. Every time I walk in the room, they clam up.
What are they talking about?
I don't know. I think they're talking about sex.
Will you stop? Women don't talk about sex. They talk about how much money a guy makes, what kind of a car is he driving, is he a doctor,
All
lawyer?
I heard was something about a strange man, a gorgeous blonde, and a cheap act.
That's sex. You better get to school, 14.
Yeah, I'll see you later, Schneider.
All right. Strange man, gorgeous blonde, cheap act. I'd pay to see that.
Okay, what about a little thing like marriage vows?
Would you get off my back? I lost Max. Don't you have any...
Didn't you hear enough outside, Schneider?
Because of the strain that everyone herein is contained under, I choose to ignore that remark.
What is it, Schneider?
All right. I know this is none of my business.
But...
I ain't dumb. I know how the innocent little wife feels when hubby strays. And I saw Max leaving with Miss Flight to Paradise.
Schneider.
Just let me finish now, will you? I'm trying to ease the pain for this young lady. You gotta forgive Max.
Schneider.
You gotta understand the nature of the male beast. I mean, men, they ain't strong like women. They get tempted and then they fall. I'm not saying it's right, but the world kind of understands. It's not like when a woman falls, that's sad. It's pathetic. It's degrading.
Thank you. Goodbye.
I just want you to know, that I care. You know what I mean? If there's anything else I can do.
How about closing the door behind you?
I can accept that.
Damn.
I'm gonna have to live with this for the rest of my life.
Yep.
If I'd ever really been accepted in this family, none of this would have happened.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, Julie, why don't you stop blaming everybody else for your affair? You blame Max, Barbara, me. While you're at it, why did you blame the president?
Unless he's cutting sex out of the budget, too. Sorry. Julie, I really do care. Look, Max's plane probably hasn't left yet.
Right. You could reach him at the airport.
Oh, Mom, I can't call him. I wouldn't know what to say. Boy, I've really messed up my life, haven't I?
Oh, Julie. I'll tell you something. If my husband paraded a bunch of beautiful women in front of me, I'd probably blow his brains out.
Aha! You'd rather I murder him than cheat on him. Mom?
I don't think either one would solve anything.
Maybe I'll do the dishes. I don't think I'd screw that up.
Oh, I'll tell you something. I kind of miss the good old days when all Julie here did was bring home a drunk as a church project, protest against Arab oil, and run off with some guy in a van.
Mom? Am I dull?
Hi.
Hi. How was school?
Yuck. How was work? Yuck. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Who won the Peloponnesian Wars?
The Pelops?
Ask you another question?
Shoot.
Are Julie and Max getting a divorce?
Well, what makes you say that?
I added up all the stuff nobody's told me.
Well, Alex, you're wrong. They're not going to get a divorce. They can't be getting a divorce.
It's been a week and they haven't called each other or anything.
Yeah, well, they're both very stubborn.
My folks were okay when they were still shouting at each other. When they stopped, they got the divorce.
Well, that's not going to happen here. Okay? Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go down and tell Schneider there's nothing new going on.
Wait a second. You're spying for him?
Uh-huh.
Why?
Donuts. He's got lots of donuts. You too, huh?
What did you tell him?
Tell who?
Schneider?
I didn't see Schneider.
Where'd you get the donut?
I bought it.
Oh.
What?
Oh, never mind. How was your lunch with Julie?
It was fine until she started crying into the strawberries. It seems red is Max's favorite color. Is she home yet?
No, I don't know. I just got in. I really do feel sorry for Julie. She's been so down lately.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. Well, how do you like it?
Wow.
It's beautiful.
Do you really like it, Mom?
Mm-hmm.
Good. I put it on your charge.
Fine.
Well, I'll pay you back or you can give it to me for Christmas, whichever comes first.
Ho, ho, ho.
Well, aren't we in a good mood?
Julie, is the red for strawberry?
Uh-huh.
Oh, so you've heard from Max?
No, but I'm sure I will. He hasn't phoned yet, has he? Oh, no, it's a little early anyway.
New watch, kind of big, isn't it?
I got it for Max. He's always wanted one.
Merry Christmas, Max.
Yeah, well, I guess it's only fair I bought Julie the dress. Julie, why are you so sure that Max is going to call?
Because he is a wonderful and forgiving man. And it's been 7 days, and never, even after our worst arguments, has he stayed mad for over a week.
Julie, I think this is a little more than just a mad.
But Barbie, you don't understand. He's in town.
He is?
Yeah, I checked his schedule, and he's working a round-trip flight to Indianapolis today. He landed about 10, 20 minutes ago. He'll be calling any minute. He will.
Julie, look, I don't want you to get your hopes up too much, huh?
Mom, he'll call, and if he doesn't call, he'll just come over. That's why he hasn't called. You see, he's on his way over here. You guys don't have to look at each other. He'll be here. He's got to be here. I'm pregnant.
Are you sure?
Mom, I am a week late, and I'm never late. I'm so regular, Max says that Greenwich should call me.
What a lousy time to get pregnant.
Oh, great. I'm gonna have a baby, and my own mother doesn't even care.
Oh, no, my darling, I'd love to care.
Who? Who? Max, you dummy, Max.
Oh. Well, there might just be some people who'd wonder.
Well, just so some people don't wonder, what happened with Harold happened months ago.
Hey, I just thought of something. I'm going to be a grandmother. I don't have gray hair on my head that anybody knows about.
Mom, I love you.
Hey, I just made Aunt.
Yeah.
Darling, look, listen to me. Maybe you're not pregnant, huh? You're only a week late and you are a nervous wreck.
Mom, I'm pregnant. Oh, part of me is just so happy. It's like I've done something that nobody else in the world has ever done.
Please, Julie. You got a husband who is insensitive to your feelings. You think he's cheating on you. You know you've cheated on him, and you're babbling on about bringing a baby into this mess.
Mom, don't you see? The baby's gonna change everything. I'll have someone to love, and then Max will want to take care of the both of us. Except I can't even tell him. I mean, I don't want him coming back to me just because I'm gonna have a baby. Why doesn't he call?
Stop talking, I'm back.
Hi, Alex.
Don't worry, I'm not gonna ask any questions. Wait till you see what Schneider gave me. He thought it would cheer us all up. For whatever it is nobody's talking about. A half dozen weenies on a stick.
That's just what we need.
Yeah, my favorite food.
Hey, don't knock it. It sounds great to me.
That figures.
It's as if Schneider knew about the baby.
Baby? What baby?
Oh, Alex.
Julie's having a baby?
We didn't say that.
Oh, you're having a baby? No! Barbara's having a baby.
Alex, why don't you go get cleaned up for dinner?
Get cleaned up for weenies on a stick.
Tell you one thing, somebody around here is having a baby. It's not me.
I still love Max.
Of course I do.
Then go fight for him.
Oh, am I kidding? This whole thing is so useless. I mean, I can't undo what I've done, and Max still has his playmates. Mom, you are right. I need to raise my baby in a home that will give it love and attention. Like here, with a loving grandmother and aunt. I mean, I could get a job, and we could turn the alcove into a nursery, and I could join Parents Without Partners. I better start my breathing exercises.
You better go to the airport and talk to Max.
No, ma'am. There is no way that I'm going to butt into this.
Max, help us settle something. She says the Panhandle is in Oklahoma. I say it's in Texas. Well, actually, there's a panhandle in Oklahoma, Texas, West Virginia, and Idaho.
Really?
Yeah, and there's a potholder in Tennessee.
Hi, Max.
Shorty, what are you doing here?
I just came down to talk to you, if you can spare the time.
Well, sure. Excuse me, okay? Excuse me? I've got about 30 minutes until my flight. You want some coffee or something?
Sure, that's fine.
Great, okay. Julie send you down?
No. Max, I hate behaving like a mother-in-law, but I really can't stand this one more minute. Why don't you talk to her?
What am I supposed to say? Glad you found something to do while I was away? She's totally destroyed our marriage.
Hold on, Max.
She has.
Max, let me ask you a question. Suppose that Julie had continued in design school.
Terrific.
Okay. And she had designed a line of men's clothing using male models.
Yeah, so?
Hey, Navinis.
Hi, Gloria.
Oh, we were in a hot tub in New Orleans.
Uh-huh. And Julie got to travel to a lot of interesting places and spent a lot of time in hot tubs with male models with the rippling muscles.
Oh, okay, I get the point. So, I might be a little jealous.
I might be a little jealous. I tell you, Max, you really are a saint. Okay, a little jealous. Great. Then Julie could yell at you for being stupid and childish, for worrying and wanting to talk about it.
That's no excuse to hop in the sack.
You're right. You are right, Max. But you are so damn stuck in being right that you don't listen to what she has to say. Hey, Max, she's scared and she's jealous. And it's all real to her.
Fine. I'm not fooling around.
Bye, Navinis.
And I've told her that 1,000 times.
And she hasn't believed it 1,000 times.
Well, that's dumb, and it's totally unreasonable.
There you go again.
There I go what? There I go what again?
If you understood a thing I said, Julie's right. You just don't listen. Thanks for the coffee. So long. Knobby knees.
I'm going to be a grandfather.
I told you we shouldn't have told Schneider about the baby.
Yeah.
Little baby, I mean, that's wonderful.
Schneider.
Really, it really is. I mean, okay, so you got a couple of problems now, but you're going to have a little baby. That's really terrific. I remember when Estelle and I split up, she had a baby. I didn't know about it until he was 19 years old. Max is so lucky. You're going to tell him, right?
Maybe it's just as well Max is gone. I'll never forget the look in his eyes when he walked out. He could have killed me.
Oh,
I'll get it. Max.
What's going on?
It was just the back of the couch.
Alex.
Yeah.
Take these guys out for a hamburger, okay?
Nah, it's okay. We just had some
That's a great
eating.
idea. I like
had
that.
some Jell-O.
We're very hungry, and Schneider wants to come with us, and so do you.
I thought he had a gun. I swear to God.
I've missed you a lot.
Me too.
Can you forgive me?
I don't know.
Max, I feel so wrong. I feel so guilty. If I could just turn time back.
You can't. At least I can't. As long as I live, I'll never forget what you did.
Then it's hopeless.
If I thought it was hopeless, I wouldn't be here.
Oh, Max.
Just a second now, Julie. It's not that easy. I don't think I can just kiss and make up.
I'm willing to do anything.
So am I.
We could go for counseling.
Okay. I could bid some shorter flights, be home more at night. Who knows, maybe I'll even learn to listen to you.
I'd love that. Max, you missed your flight.
Yeah, well, I told them I had some problems at home and that was a little more important to me than my flight.
But what if you get fired?
Who cares?
You ought to care. I'm gonna have a baby.
A baby?
Your baby. Max, look at me. Your baby.
Our baby?
Yeah.
Hi. Alex, what are these?
Pants?
What are your pants doing on the dining room table? I mean, everything else is on the floor.
They're not doing anything. They're waiting. To be sewn. They got ripped.
Your brand new pants. Alex, why is it always your new pants that get ripped?
You've noticed that, too?
Alex, you didn't wear these to school, did you?
Didn't I?
Didn't any of your teachers say anything?
Only Mr. Sebastian in homeroom. He wanted to know if I needed money for lunch.
Wonderful. You know you're going to meet Kareem Abdul-Jabbar tonight without any pants.
I don't even want to ask.
He's being interviewed on the 11:20 sports show tonight.
Alex?
Kareem, you know that a lot of my clients advertise on WSFR, so...
Yeah, and she set it up for Kareen to sign my basketball, and I get to stay up till midnight.
Right, and tomorrow after school, El Destructo, we are going to march down and buy a new pair of pants out of your allowance.
Okay, okay. Boy, sometimes you sound just like a mother.
I am a mother, remember?
Girls don't count. They're not the same.
He's telling me. Alex! Your stuff.
Stop.
Right.
Remind you of Julie?
Cross between Julie and a Sherman tank. You look very nice.
Thank you.
Big date?
Little date.
Jack.
Mark.
Who is Mark?
He's a dental student. I met him at the store.
Uh-huh. But I thought that you and Jack...
Yes, we are. And I was very honest about that with Mark. I told him that I was seeing somebody. Sort of.
Sort of seeing somebody?
Well, you know Jack is at the university. He's only home on weekends.
Right.
So I sort of see him. I don't actually see him Monday through Thursday.
Barbara, that's a technicality.
Okay, so I'm having dinner on a technicality.
Look, sweetheart, I think you should see a lot of different guys. I mean, you are much too young to get serious. And you're pretty enough to get away with murder. But even you can't have it both ways.
Yeah, Barb, it's kind of lousy. I mean, guys have feelings, too. You know.
Look, there's no problem. Mark's like an old friend. His uncle manages the store, and he helps out sometimes on weekends. It's not a date, it's just a dinner date.
You're going out with a guy just for a meal? Boy, that's rotten.
Alex, we're having a private conversation.
Yeah, and it's really very interesting. Barbara, how old do you have to be before she stops sending you to your room?
77.
Look, you are obviously not attracted to Mark, and he is attracted to you. Don't lead him on.
Come on, Mom. What do you want me to do? Sit home by the hearth 4 nights a week? I'm a big girl. I can handle it. Hello? Jack. Hi. Wow, this is a terrific surprise. Are you calling from Bloomington? Oh, you're not. You're here. Well, that's terrific. Isn't that terrific, Mom? Jack's home a day early, midterm.
Terrific.
Tonight, Jack. Well, yes. You know I do. Can we make it a little later than that? A little later? A little bit later than that. Okay, fine. I'll see you tonight at 9:30. Bye-bye.
Well, so much for sitting home by the hearth. What do you plan to tell pleasant, adoring Mark?
Why do I have to tell him anything? As long as I'm home by 9:30. Come on, Mom, what's the big deal? Dinner at 7, home by 9:30. That's 2.5 hours. I'm a fast eater. I'm gonna go out tonight, and I'm gonna have a good time with Mark. And with Jack. Oh, can you get that? I gotta get my coat.
You are rotten. I'm going to hand it to you.
Hi.
Hi, Mark and Romano.
Hi, I'm Mark Royer. Are you Barbara's roommate?
No, her mother.
I'm sorry.
Don't be. Come on in.
Thank you.
Hi. Well, I see you two have met.
Yep.
So long, Mom. We really gotta go.
No, we don't. We got all evening.
But don't you have a reservation?
Lots of time. Besides, before I date a girl, I always like to check out the mother.
Yes, we really do have to go.
Have
Bye.
a good time.
Yeah, thanks. We'll be home early.
We will? You know, Barbara, maybe I shouldn't say this, but, you know, the first moment I saw you, I said to myself, now there is a girl with a lovely set of bicuspids.
You know, Mr. Royer, I've heard a little sweet talk in French, Dutch, even Latin. But you're the only man I know who speaks dentistry beautifully.
It's only one of my many talents. Actually, dentistry is just a sideline.
Stuffed shirts by Mr.?
No, that's M.R. Mark Royer, right.
That's great. For me?
No, I give them to all girls named Cooper. I told you about this. You know, T-shirts made to order.
Oh, did you work your way through dental school selling T-shirts?
No, actually, in undergraduate school, I had a porta pizza business. And I ran raft trips down the Salmon River. Oh, and look at this.
Oh, that's very attractive.
Mm-hmm. It's a little jewelry item I'm designing in the dental lab.
Gold nugget?
Better, a gold inlay.
Very personal.
Exactly. See, what you got here is beauty and function. See, during cocktails, you wear it as a necklace, but your dinner comes, you eat with it. You know, I should have asked you out a year ago.
But?
But, oh, yeah, but I was pinned.
Pin? Guess it didn't work out too well.
Oh, no, it worked out great. We broke up.
You know, I can never tell when you're serious and when you're kidding.
I know, I have the same problem.
Oh, my God.
No, just call me Mark.
I didn't realize it was so late.
5 after 9?
Well, see, it's a school night.
Yes?
Not that I go to school.
Why do I have this feeling you're trying to tell me something?
Okay, it's not that it's very late. It's just that... All right. You seem like the kind of guy who appreciates honesty.
Right, I appreciate honesty.
Okay, there's this other guy I told you
Usually, I appreciate honesty.
about. Ordinarily, he comes into town Friday evenings.
All right, yeah, you told me. He goes to the university and you save your weekends for him, your prime time.
See, the thing is, this turned out to be a long weekend at this end.
Mm-hmm.
He came home early today.
So?
So, I told him that I'd see him later. That's why I have to get home to meet him at 9:30.
Oh, I see. Oh, well, I understand.
Oh, Mark, thank you. I knew you would.
Here.
What's that?
That's a dime. Call your friend. Tell him you won't be there.
What do you mean I won't be there?
Well, if you think I'm going to take you out and buy you dinner and then rush you home to spend the evening with somebody else, you're out of your mind.
But I told him that I was going to...
I know. Call him. Tell him you won't be there.
Mark, I want you to take me home now.
To be with some other guy?
Well, he'll be waiting, so...
I know. Call him.
No! I'm not going to call, and you're going to take me home right now.
No. But I will take you to this really terrific place I know. They brew the best cup of Java you ever had in your life.
Oh, all right. One very quick cup of coffee, and then you're taking me home.
Look, I don't see what you're so steamed about. You agreed to have one quick cup of coffee. That's all we had. One quick cup of coffee.
In Kokomo, Indiana? You nerd. You jerk. You You pill?
Now you're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. Those are the feeblest four-letter words you used all night.
10:30.
You know what's wrong with the world, Barbara?
You're in it.
Got a pretty quick sense of humor there for somebody who's a little spoiled and kind of thoughtless.
I'm thoughtless? I suppose you think this is the proper way to treat a lady?
No, not even sure it's the right way to treat you. Okay, I'll take you home. Unless you'd rather see the steel mills of Gary by moonlight. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, Jack, look, I understand, okay? Try not to worry. Good move. Look, Jack, she'll call you as soon as she gets in, I promise. Good night, huh? I'm sure there's a perfectly good explanation. There'd better be.
Poor Jack. Boy, what a guy has to go through for a little loving.
Excuse me?
Dating. It's like organized rejection. Hey, come on. We're gonna see Jabbar. We better get going. It's 20 to 11.
Yeah, right. Right. Alex, do you know how many times Mr. Jabbar comes to the Indianapolis area in a season?
No, how many times?
Lots.
Oh, no. No, Ms. R, no. You promised me, and I told the guys. I even took a nap this afternoon.
Barbara is over an hour late. She's never late.
But you promised. Look, Barbara can take care of herself. She's a middle-aged woman.
I know, but I'm worried. I know I'm being silly. I know I'm overprotective.
I know you're thinking out.
Alex, please try to understand. I'm sorry, but I'm worried about Barbara.
Okay, you're worried.
Yes.
You don't have to worry here. Look, leave a note. You can worry at the TV station. I hear they've got soundproof rooms.
Alex, the phone might ring. I'm sorry.
Sure. Worry about her. Don't worry about me. She's your kid. I'm not. Go ahead, think out. See if I care. Think out.
Alex, oh, come on.
Will you please buzz off, you turkey?
Just walking you to the door.
Oh, I hate you. I despise you. I detest you.
Okay, that does it. No good night kiss for you.
Now, look what you did. I can't find my keys.
What I did?
Oh, terrific. It's almost midnight. I'm gonna have to wake my mom and tell her what.
Well, how about the truth?
What? That I've been driving around the state with a jerk?
Oh, no, you don't. It's too late to make up now.
Will you knock it off? Slamming the car doors, screaming in the elevator, waking up the whole building. Even Miss LaRue is out of bed.
Find my keys.
Whoa.
Well, look who's home. You were supposed to be home at 9:30. I suppose you forgot all about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
She had a date with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Jabbar, he can get me some tickets.
Oh, it had nothing to do with Jabbar. It was Alex.
Oh, she had a date with Alex.
Alex can't get any tickets.
I had a date with Jack.
You're a busy lady.
Jack, he can get tickets?
Oh, Schneider. Barbara, you ruined the whole night. We couldn't leave because I was so worried.
Mom, when are you gonna stop treating me like a child? You make me feel guilty, like I can't go anywhere, like you don't trust me.
I'm a mother. That's what we do. We worry. And where does it get me? You're mad, Alex is furious, Jack is frantic, and Kareem is tall.
It's not my fault that Alex didn't get to see Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh, Alex didn't get to see him?
No.
Oh, he must have been heartbroken.
It's not my fault. It's your fault. And his.
I never even met Jabbar.
Just wait till my mother finds out what you did to me.
What he did to... What?
That is not what he did to me.
Look, who are you?
I am the maintenance engineer for this family.
Okay, I would like to know why I worried myself sick. I would like an explanation.
You got it. Explain it to the lady.
Well, I guess what happened was really unforgivable.
He drove me across half the state and wouldn't bring me home to meet Jack.
Now, wait a second. I can see his point. He's got a date with a girl, and then she's meeting another guy.
Shut up, Schneider.
Of course, I can see your point, too.
Look, maybe I'm wrong, maybe she's
The thing
wrong.
about this whole thing, you
Look,
see...
sir, no disrespect, but this is between Barbara and me. And you just said you're not a kid, so stop acting like one. Start thinking for yourself and speak for yourself.
I do speak for myself. Tell him, Mom.
Look, Ms. Romano, I'm sorry you worried, and I'm sorry you're upset. But I'd do it again. Good night.
You want to know something? I like the way that guy handles women. He could go a long way. I'm going to talk to him about attending one of my seminars.
He refused to bring me home to meet Jack. Isn't that despicable, Mother?
Just call Jack.
My own mother, a male chauvinist.
All this for a Whitman sampler on Mother's Day.
What is that supposed to mean?
That is supposed to mean that Reggie Jackson will be on next Wednesday night's sports show.
Reggie Jackson? Wait a second, that's what you said about Jabbar. But if Barbara gets a hangnail,
Alex! You can take this one to the bank.
You mean it?
You bet your old Abner Doubleday I do.
Ms. R, I really didn't mean all those terrible things.
Hey, that's all right, I understand. You didn't say anything so terrible about me.
I meant the stuff I was thinking. Wow, Reggie Jackson, I can't believe it. I just hope this time... Barbara, next Wednesday night, you don't have a date, do you?
Quiet. Barbara. Alex, it's not you.
I'm sorry. Let's just say last night I had a crazy nightmare, okay?
And then she came home and went to bed.
I still can't believe what happened.
Honey, it's Friday. You going out with Jack tonight?
I don't know. I don't care.
Hi, Miss Romano.
Hello, Schneider.
Hi, kid.
Hi.
How you doing?
Great.
Yeah, I know how disappointed you are.
I feel terrific.
I know things look kind of bleak now, but never forget, it's always darkest before the storm. You know, I was going through my memento locker downstairs. I came across something I think you really might like to have.
What is it?
It's a cue ball, autographed by Minnesota Fats. That's the one he beat Paul Newman with.
Terrific, Schneider.
Yeah.
Signature's a little fuzzy, though.
Well, it's kind of tough to write on a cue ball, you know.
Schneider, how does he spell his first name?
Minnesota? Minnisoda, Minnesota Fats.
That's what it says right there. Thanks, Schneider. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Mom, can I borrow your scarf?
Sure you can, honey, but where's yours?
Oh, I must have left it in his car last night.
Schneider.
That old chestnut.
I forgot. All right? I was mad. It must have fallen under the seat.
What old chestnut?
Well, you see, whenever a girl wants a guy to call her, you know, when she wants to see him again, she conveniently leaves something in his car.
I don't want to see that nerd again.
They never admit it, of course. Things that I have found in my camper. Whoa. Wow. Gloves, scarves, earrings, purses, an accordion.
An accordion?
Yeah. She put that thing on my chest and played Lady of Spain.
Barbara, it was an old scarf anyway.
Yeah, can't get scarves like that anymore. Well, if that med-fly brain should call while I'm gone, tell him I'll be home about 5. He can drop it by then.
Honey, I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be at work.
Me neither. I'll be at school.
Well, what am I supposed to do?
Buy another scarf.
Right. I'll have to call him. What choice do I have? I want my scarf, okay? Hello, Mark, it's Barbara. Look, I left a scarf. Oh. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Bye. He's mailing it. Parcel post.
Oh, she got a scarf back.
Right. And you said you never wanted to see him again.
Works out great, because I guess he doesn't want to see you either.
I got what I wanted. Ugh.
Something wrong with the coffee?
Well, it's not the best cup of coffee I've ever had.
Oh, really? And where was the best cup of coffee you ever had?
Kokomo, Indiana.
You're terrific. You know that?
Well, what do you think of the old bod?
It's trim. It's very trim.
You mean skinny, don't you? Gotta put on 4 more pounds just to be a 97-pound weakling.
What are you two goldfish doing in the bathroom?
There aren't any goldfish in here.
I know, they're in the bathtub. Have you ever tried getting dressed in front of goldfish? Just get those filthy sardines out of the tub, Cousteau.
How dirty can fish be? They're in water all the time.
And then get dressed, Alex, okay? Francine's picking me up, and then we'll drop you off at school.
Yay.
Barbara, aren't you overreacting just a little?
I can't stand those stupid goldfish. I hope they drown.
The goldfish or Mark Royer?
Goldfish are not that stupid, and why are you bringing him up?
Because, my darling, for a week now, ever since your date with Mark, you have been behaving like this.
Like what? Mom, why is he bugging me?
Oh, he hasn't called, he hasn't written, hasn't tried to see you.
I know. Why is he bugging me like that?
Ah, Francine. Morning.
Hi, Annie. All set?
Almost.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Francine.
She has man trouble.
Oh, well, it's better to have man trouble than no man trouble. Oh, Anne, I'm sorry. I didn't think.
Why should you start now, Francine?
Well, Barbara, you just happen to be in luck because this is my specialty.
Trouble.
Men. Oh, well, a glass of orange juice would be just lovely. Thank you. Well, maybe next time. So, Barbara, you're really wild about this guy, huh?
Wild is an understatement. Our first and only date was a total disaster. I told him I hated him. I told him I despised him.
Oh, well, now he knows you're interested.
You said I was interested.
Oh, come on now, Barbara. First thing, no matter what, you gotta be honest.
With men? Oh, no wonder she's having trouble. Barbara, you have got to play the game. Ploy, gambit, counterploy.
This is not a game. This is life. You should be honest.
You're right. Be very honest about what you want. Then cheat and lie to get it.
I've never met anyone so honest about being deceptive.
Oh, I prefer to think of it as charm with a purpose. Annie, tell me, what do you think of Barbara's young man?
Mark? Well, he seemed nice enough. He said he thought that I was Barbara's roommate.
There, see? He's playing the game.
Barbara, you said you never wanted to see Mark again. As a matter of fact, you have said that every single day for the past week. Come on, how about a little honesty, huh?
All right. You want honesty? Okay. I am bugged. I am annoyed. I am...
Intrigued?
Intrigued? Intrigued. I will not give you intrigued. I will give you ambivalent.
I will take it. Because you see, Barbara, you have been an ambivalent pain in the butt. Do us all a favor and see him again.
Oh, it might be awful.
Terrific! Fine! Wonderful! Then you'll clear it up once and for all. You don't have to like him. You don't have to have a good time. If it's awful, that's terrific.
You must be a fun date, Annie. Well, all set for another big day in the mines. Ah, hi, Francine. Hi, handsome. Hey, looking good.
Barbara, just call him, huh?
Oh, Mom, I can't. Not after what he did to me and what I...
Oh, Barbara, you are right. You have to run into him by accident. Now, where does Mark spend most of his time?
Oh, at the dental clinic. He's studying dentistry.
Have you tried abscessing?
Okay, come on, Barbara. Honesty. Tell him you owe him a dinner.
You want me to cook for him?
It's one way of getting back at him.
I am not gonna grovel. Francine, have you got any great ideas on how to invite a man to dinner without looking like I'm inviting him to dinner?
Let him pursue you. Play him. You know, I don't think I should be hearing this. I'm on the other team. And I'll bet that's your team, the Sharks. Yeah, it's baseball. I'll bet you're a sweet swinger.
Well, Alex.
Yeah?
You're not gonna go to school in that ratty old T-shirt, are you?
Ratty?
Your team needs new T-shirts, right?
No.
Oh, yeah, sure they do.
Barbara. Barbara, what are you doing? I'm half naked. You've been working out? Well, yeah. A little. I can tell.
Alex, I know where I can get a great deal on some new T-shirts for your whole team.
Huh?
Mark.
Mom, I'm gonna take your advice. I am gonna see Mark. And I am gonna be honest. I am honestly gonna see him about some T-shirts. Mark.
What are you doing? What did you make me do?
Sorry.
Sorry, Robert.
Look, sorry. I wouldn't be here at all except, Alex. You've heard about Alex.
Huh?
You haven't heard about Alex. Anyway, see, he's on this baseball team, the Sharks, and, like, they need new T-shirts, but, like, they don't have any money.
Just a minute, please. Okay. Okay, Robert, you're all set. We'll see you in 6 months or sooner if you don't stay away from those soft drinks.
Oh, no. Nothing but Perrier for me from now on.
Look, couldn't we do this some other place?
I think you've shown me enough of the Indiana countryside, thank you.
Okay, but I am in school. I'm supposed to be working on patients. Here, sit down.
What?
Sit down. In case a professor comes by. Sharks, huh?
And these are the sizes and the numbers that go on them.
Okay, let's see. A dozen shirts at $9.95 a shirt.
I was thinking, well, you know, there might be a discount.
Oh, right. Because we mean so much to each other. Okay. I can have them for you on Tuesday. At cost. No charge for the labor.
Thank you very much.
I can drop them off around dinner time.
Dinner time? Look, Mark, I don't know what your game is, but I'm not playing. I don't owe you dinner, and I'm not cooking for you.
Fine, so I'll deliver the shirts. I'm not staying for dinner.
Oh, okay. I see your game now.
What game?
You think I should feel indebted. Well, it won't work. You do the shirt, you're coming to dinner Tuesday night, 7 o'clock.
I'll be there.
We're on here. How's it going?
Fine, Dr. Clinton. Fine, no problem.
Oh, let me take a look. That's a bad one. You're gonna have to go pretty deep there. I'm afraid it's gonna have to come out.
You think that's necessary?
This baby has to go.
The molar?
No, the brunette. Keep your girlfriends out of the clinic, Royer. And as for you, young lady, never show your molars to a man on your first date.
Hi there, Barbara.
Hi, Schneider.
Ooh, boy. You look terrific.
Oh, thanks.
Hey.
Canapes and pate.
Oh, yeah? Holy mackerel. All of this for Mark?
Is it too much? I mean, I want it to look nice, but not too nice. I mean, nice like it would be nice if it really were nice, not nice like I fixed it up to be nice.
I see. You just kind of wanted to think that you didn't do too much fussing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just a normal, regular, every Tuesday night dinner.
That's it.
Well, what are you serving?
Rock Cornish game hen, wild rice almondine, watercress salad, and a simple flan for dessert.
Well, as long as it's a simple flan.
Is it too gourmet-ish?
Oh, don't ask me. I haven't had any gourmet food since I got out of the Navy. So, anyway, what's the matter with the hot water faucet?
Oh, it's making noise again.
Making noise again, huh? Well, let's see what it's doing this time.
Let's get going.
Hey, Barbara, what's this stuff? Alex, don't touch that. That's pate and canapes.
Thanks for the warning.
You guys stepping out, huh?
Oh, we're just getting out of the way a little dinner in the Pacers game.
Ah, that's terrific. I'll look at the things here.
No. Schneider, come on.
Well, see, the thing is, I want to talk to Mark. I mean, see, it's strictly business. I mean, Alex told me the guy does T-shirts and things, and I got a rush emergency job for him. It's...
Yeah, Schneider, come on. I think that they'd like to be alone, huh?
Oh, yeah, right. Sure. Gosh, I'll never forget the first time a woman cooked dinner for me. Sylvia Bluetooth Stadelbach. She was 5 years old. We had earthworms au gratin. She served a very dry Hawaiian punch.
See you later.
Bye.
Hi.
Hi.
12 shark T-shirts.
And one red rose.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah, well.
smells great.
Oh, it's Cornish game hen.
Oh, could have sworn it was Fabergé.
Oh, that.
It's one of my favorite scents.
Fabergé?
Cornish hen.
Oh, well, next time I'll just save a buck. Put a hint of chicken grease behind each ear.
Did I happen to mention that you have a very unique sense of humor?
Well, I must have. I invited you, didn't I?
Well, that's because I finagled.
Finagled?
Yeah, it's a technical term we dentists use. Here. Extractions are my specialty. See, the thing is, when you walked into the clinic...
For the T-shirts.
Right, for the T-shirts. Barbara, I finagled this dinner invitation.
What? You didn't?
I did.
Why?
Why? Well, because for some strange reason, I wanted to see you again. I was just feeling... Oh, I don't know what I was feeling. I felt...
Ambivalent?
Right. Ambivalent, that's it.
Well, why didn't you just call me?
Well, I don't know. I guess once a girl tells you to buzz off, that she hates you and despises you, you figure, well, maybe she's not all that interested.
Did I say all that?
Those were the compliments.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hello? Mind if I pop in?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Hi there, Mark. We met the other day. My name is Dwayne Schneider. I'm the maintenance engineer for this family.
Schneider, Has anyone ever told you your sense of timing is incredible?
Oh, they all do. So anyway, Mark, I understand that you're a skivvy impresario.
What?
Well, you make T-shirts and print names and stuff.
Anything that's fit to print, we print to fit.
Yeah, well, see, we got a big problem down at the lodge, you know. We got some T-shirts made for our annual beer bust and chili bake-off.
So what's the problem?
Well, see, the lodge, we're all known, the guys who know the lodge, we're known as the Secret Order of Beavers, see? Mm-hmm. But the guy who's doing the T-shirts, he thought that, I don't know how he found it, what somebody told him, but he thinks that we're the Secret and Loyal Order of Beavers.
I see the problem there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what do you want on them?
Oh, just what we are. Just nothing but what we are, the Secret Order of Beavers.
The SOBs.
That's us, that's what we are. That's it. And we'd like them tomorrow morning.
Oh, no, I can't do it. See, I'd have to sketch a design, then make a positive, transfer the positive to the negative, and then do each shirt by hand.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
We need 54 of them.
Schneider, you heard him. He can't do it.
54 T-shirts. Wow, that would be $135 clear profit.
You could do it?
Well, I'd have to start right now and work all night, but I just about finished in time for my 10 o'clock class.
By the time we eat...
Oh, yeah, the dinner. Oh.
$135. Great. I can get that new set of Lee Trevino woods that are on sale.
Golf clubs. Right. I understand.
You do? Oh, terrific.
Listen, maybe we can paint the L out,
well,
you know?
We'll just do this tomorrow night, right?
Wrong.
Well, Thursday? Friday?
No.
Oh, I got it.
You're kind of quick there for someone who's a little spoiled and kind of thoughtless.
Mark, listen, you don't really know all the guys down at the lodge. I actually believe that we could probably go with the SLOBs.
Here. A hungry competitor, I think you'll do your job.
Gee, that's terrific. Thanks a lot, and enjoy the dinner.
Thank you.
Guy turns down $135 for a scrawny chicken and some rice.
Why did I do that?
Maybe you like Cornish hen.
Well, I hope that's it, because if it's not... Oh, no.
Oh, no, what?
All week long, I've been feeling...
Ambivalent.
Right. Then I get here, and right off, I have to make a choice. 4 golf clubs or you.
Tough decision.
So I guess I don't feel quite as ambivalent as I thought.
Would you like an hors d'oeuvre?
Oh, thank you. Oh, holy teapot, if you'll pardon the expression. This is kind of scary.
It's pâté.
No, I mean us, tonight. It's going too well. With us, when an evening begins great, it's...
Oh, well, I'm very sure this one will not end the same way.
Why?
I'm already home.
Smart thinking. Well, one good thing about that stupid evening, we didn't have to worry about that awkward, embarrassing kiss on the first date.
Now we have to worry about it on the second date.
No, we don't.
We don't?
Mm-mm. Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you. Didn't seem awkward?
No, felt right. Glad you thought of it.
Well, it wasn't exactly what I had in mind by hors d'oeuvres. Would you like anything else?
Mm-hmm.
Pâté?
Mm-mm.
Canapes?
Mm-mm.
Do you smell something burning?
I think possibly it's me.
I'll check the oven.
Barbara, that dinner was delicious.
Thank you.
It's a good thing, too. I figure each mushroom cost me $8.50.
Come on. Nobody made you stay.
Oh, yeah, somebody made me stay. Barbara, did I happen to mention that you're the most beautiful woman in the room?
No.
Well, I will sometime. Remind me.
When?
Oh, maybe at a rock concert where there are about 1 million people. Or a Pacers game. Miss America pageant.
I didn't come to see you about the T-shirts.
You didn't?
No, I, too, had a week that was sort of...
Ambivalent?
You could say that.
Barbara, let me ask you. Are you trying to make me fall in love with you?
No.
Oh, well, I guess it must be my own idea.
This is either the smoothest pitch I've ever heard, or else...
I think it's or else.
That would be nice.
You mean you feel...
Oh, I didn't say that exactly.
Well, I didn't say it either. Exactly.
Say what?
Barbara.
Mark, we hardly know each other.
That's right. That's another advantage. Give us something to talk about on our wedding night.
Our wedding night?
Our wedding night. Yours and mine.
Is this a proposal? I mean, is this the way these things happen?
Yes. And I don't know. I've never done this before.
Well, Mark, you just can't ask somebody to marry you on their second date, can you?
Well, I sure couldn't ask you on the first one. No, you're right. You can't ask a girl to marry on the second date.
Oh, can't?
Yeah, ask a girl to marry on what date? The 3rd? 91st? I got it. The 32nd.
You're crazy.
Well, let's see. Let's take a look here. So you figure what, an average of 5 dates a week, not counting lunches, makes it 6 weeks from Thursday.
Well, you know, Mark, if you were to figure 6 dates a week and count lunches.
Hi.
Hi, honey.
What smells so good?
Oh, it's a little something I'm whipping up for Cousin Sophie.
Garlic bread, salad,
Look at this.
manicotti, strawberry chocolate shortcake. Just something you're whipping up, huh?
Yeah, well, see, I haven't seen Sophie since we moved to Indianapolis. And when she was a little girl, I remember this was her second favorite dinner.
Okay, I'll bite. What was her favorite?
Peanut butter and banana sandwich.
Peanut butter and banana sandwich. Finally, we're having some real food around here.
Is everybody decent?
Yes, the orgy's been over for hours.
I wouldn't want to shock my date. Come on in, Maxine.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Boy, you got a lot of growing to do.
Miss Romano, Barbara, Alex, I'd like you to meet Maxine Meeps. Known to one and all as Heaps of Meeps.
Schneider, did you come up to fix the outlet?
No, actually, I'm here to model the latest fashions from Black & Decker.
Oh, you're not going to fix the outlet?
Well, yeah, sure I'm going to, but that was just a joke.
Oh. I just love jokes. Go ahead. Finish it.
Schneider, you have a date, obviously, so you can do this any other time.
No, I think I better fix that outlet right now because it could be dangerous.
Where's the little girl's room? I'm on this watermelon diet.
It's right back there.
Oh, thank you. She's sure pretty, Schneider.
Thanks a lot, kid, but looks ain't that important. It's what's in the soul that counts. Listen, Alex, go on over to fuse box there, and when I tell you, trip number 3, okay?
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Schneider, it's been working. It just smells kind of funny.
Yeah, well, either you got a bad wire or a fried cockroach in it.
Listen, where are you and your lady friend going, Schneider? Or shouldn't we ask?
Well, actually, I'm taking her over the other side of town. We're going to do some bowling. I'm trying to keep her under wraps. Let me tell you, it's kind of difficult. See, I want to save her for the annual lodge dance. You got a terrific reputation over there for bringing gorgeous dates, you know? I mean, some of the guys call me John Derek East.
Come on, Barbara, you gotta drive me to the library.
Oh, that must be Sophie.
Sophie who?
DeGilio, you know, my cousin from Logansport. You brought the bed up for her, remember?
Sophie.
Barbara? This is little Barbara?
Sophie.
Ann, I gotta get your recipes.
Oh, it is so good to see you.
It's been too long.
Much too long, really.
Yeah.
Hi.
Well, hello, who are you?
Oh, this is Alex Handress.
Oh, hi, Alex. I'm real glad to meet you. Ann wrote me about you.
I would like you to meet our superintendent, Dwayne Schneider.
Oh, sure. Hi. Ann wrote me about you, too.
Oh, something nice, I hope.
Let me think. Yeah, there was something nice.
How are you? Whoa, good grip. Good grip, big feet.
Sophie, I gotta take Alex to the library, but we'll be right back, okay?
Yeah, it was nice meeting you.
Hey, yeah.
Look, Sophie, I'm going to put your bag in Barbara's room. Okay.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
What are you working on?
Probably a little problem here with the outlet.
Smells like you either got a bad wire or a fried cockroach. My grandfather was an electrician. He was full of all those old wheezes.
Let me have the pliers.
Sure. Needle nose or pug?
How'd you know that?
My folks ran a hardware store.
Jeez. Your grandfather was an electrician. Your folks owned a hardware store. Suppose you're going to tell me now that your uncle owned a saloon.
Huh? No such luck. He runs a brewery.
Sorry I took so long. My heel got caught in my pantyhose.
Sophie, I would like you to meet Maxine Heaps.
Meeps?
Meeps. Friend of Schneider's.
Hello, Maxine.
Hi. Hey, Schneider, we gotta go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. This is fixed now. The wire was arcing. Just flip number 4. It'll be fine.
Okay, thanks, Schneider.
Okay, kid, let's split.
Oh, don't forget your tool purse.
How many teeth in a hacksaw blade?
24 per inch. Or 32, depending upon the job.
Hey, Schneider, can't we go to a piano bar? I don't like bowling. I always tip over.
Maxine, you do me a favor, dear, and go out to the elevator and push the button.
Up or down?
Down.
Okie dokie. Oh, bye.
Bye.
Would you like to go bowling tomorrow night?
You think I'd accept a date while you're on one with her?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Of course you wouldn't.
Shows what you know.
Pick you up at 7?
Here.
My leg again.
Come up, they're sleeping.
Of course they're sleeping. I'm going to wake them up, too. Don't you understand something? See, something you don't understand, see? Women living alone, you close the door softly. They think burglar. They come out here, they mace you. You want to kiss a man goodnight who's been maced?
Actually, it's been one of my better tactics.
What?
Hey, well, look who is finally home.
Ms. Romano, Barbara, I want to ask you a very important question, okay? Will a bowling ball float?
What?
See, I told you they weren't interested in science. Come on, let's sit down.
Look at you two. Where have you been?
You won't believe it. I told Dwayne I love the smell of fresh pine.
Oh, so he took you to the lake?
He took me to his favorite lumber yard. Not every man would think of that.
I want you to know, Sophie, that from now on, that'll be our lumber yard. I'm taking another woman there.
Oh.
Have you two been drinking?
Nah. No, you can't drink when you're trying to float a bowling ball.
Right, at the lumberyard.
No, silly, at the lake.
Excuse me. How did we get to the lake?
It was a full moon. He was trying to seduce me.
It was not. Besides, before we could get to first base, she makes this dumb bet. $5 that a bowling ball will float. So I make the bet, I win the bet. lose my favorite bowling ball.
I gotta change my feet. I'm squishing. I was squishing along on the run.
I tell you, she's really a nice lady. Okay, so she's no raving beauty, but we really had a lot of fun.
Good.
Yeah, you know, terrific looks, they ain't all that important.
Schneider, what's the point?
My point is that I'm considering not asking Maxine and taking Sophie to the annual lodge dance. What's happening to me? What's happening to my sense of values?
Hey, anybody else want a six-pack?
You can finish it all.
Hey, Schneider, I saw that chick Cheryl that you was out with last week. Hey, fellas, she has got to be numero uno in the Dwayne F. Schneider Hall of Fame.
Great figure is nice, but it ain't everything. Oh, I wonder who that could be. Come in, please. Ah, Sophie. Hey, how are you? Gee, I'd like you to meet the guys. This here's Bibb, Ellie, Roscoe, Ralph.
Hi.
This is Sophie DiGilio. It's Ann Romano's cousin.
Hi, fellas.
Hey, look what she brought. Food.
Yeah, it's pastrami and roast beef and salami, and here's your Schneider, just what you ordered. Peanut butter and a pair of aces.
You're all right, Sophie.
Oh, yeah. Well, anything for Schneider's pigeons. You guys use another player?
Oh, well, actually, Sophie, this is kind of a cutthroat game, you know. As you can see, we got a couple of card sharks and a killer walrus.
What are you guys playing? 5-card stud? High-low? Down the river?
Where'd you learn those games?
During the winter in Logansport, there are only 2 things to do, and I really hate shooting elk.
Look, Sophie, this ain't penny ante poker. I think maybe the stakes might be a little bit too high for you.
I've got $120 upstairs. I don't know what to do with. I'll be right back. I gotta get my money and my green eye shade.
She's really something, huh?
Nice personality. Yeah, she's like one of the boys.
Boy, this is almost as good as my room.
I had a couple of the guys over last night. Gave them a few lessons on how to play poker.
Yeah, I heard. Sophie's taking us all out to dinner tonight on the $83 you dropped.
Wasn't the only guy that lost. She took Bibb only for a bundle, too.
You know, I really like her. She's a neat lady.
I know what you mean. She's kind of like one of the boys.
Oh, you mean like Kathleen Toffler?
Who's Kathleen? That's your girlfriend?
You kidding? She's our shortstop. She's a great infielder. But we wouldn't want to fool around with her. Not like with Joanne Boyer.
Joanne? Is she a real knockout?
Oh, yeah. She's already dating guys in the 9th grade.
Listen, let me ask you a question. If there was a big party coming up, you know, like a Halloween party, which one would you take to the party? I mean, the shortstop or this Joanne?
Halloween party?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'd take the shortstop.
You would? How come?
Well, she's a lot of fun, and she'd be wearing a mask.
We don't get fresh string beans around here unless Grandma comes over.
Well, Schneider likes them.
You're on a campaign, aren't you?
Shows, huh?
Only when you talk about Schneider.
I hope I don't scare him.
Sophie, do you really, deep inside, like him that much?
Yeah. I mean, I think I do.
Honey, you know that you are not the only woman in his life.
Oh, he's been real honest about that. We had a long talk about his relationships. Boy, was it long.
Aw, Sophie, doesn't that bother you?
Would you believe me if I said no? He did. And I think he's going to ask me to his lodge dance.
That's a biggie. I'm very impressed.
I feel like some kind of college kid waiting for a boy to give me his pin.
Sophie, word to the wise. At Schneider's Lodge, being pinned means both shoulders to the mat.
Barbara? You awake? Barbara, you awake? Barbara, are you awake?
Yes, yes.
Good, I'm glad I didn't wake you.
No, that's okay. I was dozing.
Dozing? You were snoring.
I don't snore.
We used to always call it snoring.
I do not snore.
Fine, you don't snore. Listen, is Sophie here?
No, she went shopping.
Let me ask you a question. Like the way Sophie does her hair?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Why? Don't you?
Well, yeah, I do. I just thought that, you know, she might want to do a little more, you know, bouffon.
I thought you liked the way she is.
Well, I do, you know, but like hairstyles, they change so quick. I thought maybe she might want to get a little more au courant.
Schneider, are you going to take her to the lodge dance or not?
I don't know.
Well, what do you mean you don't know? You said you were going to ask her.
I said I was thinking about asking her. I don't know if it's a good idea.
Why not?
Well, because those lodge dances, they can get very rough, you know. Last year, they had to call in a SWAT team. Just to park cars.
Schneider, give me a break. She's not exactly fragile. You've taken her hiking, fishing, and to your favorite sawmill at the lumber yard. Okay, so she's not like every other date you... That's it, isn't it? She's not flashy enough for you.
Oh, would you please? I would like to take Sophie to the lodge dance very much.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that any more than I believe I snore. You know, Sophie's probably the nicest woman you'll ever take out.
Let's get something straight, all right? You snore. You don't know you're snoring because you sleep when you're snoring, but you snore.
I said Sophie is probably one of the nicest women you'll ever take out.
I heard you.
Hello.
Hi.
Schneider's thinking of taking someone else to the lodge dance.
Oh?
Well, you know, Sophie is such a lady, and the lodge is just, you know, it's a lot of ruffians, you know.
That's pure bull.
You're not as nice as you used to be.
I thought you liked Sophie.
I do.
I know. She's not flashy enough for you. Is that what it is?
Would you two with the flashes, please?
How long have they been in the can? I don't know, maybe 20 minutes. How come you take your wife any place? The first place she goes for is the can.
Roscoe, Belly, here comes Schneider.
What did he bring?
I don't believe it.
Gee willikins. Holy smoke.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Aren't you going to introduce us?
Think you can stand it? Gents, I'd like you to meet Maxine Meeps.
How do you do? Hi.
Hi.
Beauty and brains, too.
Would you like some punch?
Oh, love some.
I'll show you where it is.
Excuse us. Oh, thanks.
Later on, Heaps.
Schneider, she's the cream de la cream.
Here, Billy. Where's Roscoe?
Oh, he went that way.
Roscoe, come back here.
You know, Schneider, you may be my best pal, but to this lodge, you're Hugh Hefner.
I gotta tell you, Billy, I love you and the guys, and I love this lodge. Eno.
Like you do.
Hi there, Miss Romano. Oh, yeah, it's going gangbusters down here, yeah. Listen, let me speak to Sophie. Oh, when did she leave? I didn't even know that. I never got a chance to say goodbye. Have a nice trip. Yeah. Yeah, I will. Oh, okay, I'll see you later.
The sound of a door opening, Julie's return and the weight of unspoken history. There are certain doors that open in a life and the sound they make stays with you longer than any spoken word. I have heard that sound in my own house more times than I care to count the particular hush that falls when someone who once belonged fully to a place returns changed carrying something they cannot yet name. When Julie steps back into the Indianapolis apartment in this stretch of one day at a time, the door does not slam. It simply opens, and the air inside the rooms rearranges itself around her presence. I feel it even now, decades later, as if the script has left a draft under my own door. The first lines arrive almost casually, the way real crises often do. Anne is on the phone with Francine apologizing for being late to the office because something has come up. The something is Julie. Not the bright rebellious girl who once protested Arab oil and ran off with a boy in a van, but a woman whose marriage has cracked open in her hands. Julie and Max are in such a mess, Anne says, and already the sentence carries the weight of every unfinished conversation this family has ever had. I know that tone. It is the voice of a mother who has spent years practicing hope as a form of discipline, who has learned to say they'll straighten it out even when the evidence is already gathering against her. What strikes me most sitting with these pages again is how little the script needs to announce the history that precedes this moment. The unspoken is already thick in the air. Barbara's immediate judgment, how could Julie do a thing like that, she's married, is not simply moral outrage. It is the sound of a younger sister who has built her own careful identity against the wilder silhouette of the older one. I'm your pure daughter, Barbara says, half joking, half desperate. Shy, frustrated, stupid and pure. The line lands with a private ache. I have been that pure daughter in rooms where someone else's mess threatened to redefine the family narrative. I have also been the one whose mess forced everyone else to rearrange their purity. The script refuses to let either position remain comfortable. Julie herself arrives already exhausted by the story she has to tell. The blonde Amazon, the stewardesses counted like sins on a ledger, the cheap shot about Harvey or Harold, whatever his name was, these details spill out in fragments because the full confession is still too large for the living room. That was the dumbest thing I ever did, she says of telling Max about the affair, and the admission is both self-lacerating and strangely proud. There is a particular kind of courage required to name your own worst decision out loud in the presence of people who still need you to be better than that. I have watched people I love make that same choice and felt the room tilt. The script captures the tilt perfectly, the way Anne tries to think constructively while Barbara wants the moral clarity of condemnation, the way Alex drifts through with homework and half-heard gossip about a strange man and a gorgeous, blonde, already absorbing more than any child should. What stays with me is the quiet violence of the return itself. Julie has not come home for comfort alone. She has come home because the alternative remaining inside the marriage she has helped destroy has become unbearable. If I'd ever really been accepted in this family, none of this would have happened, she says at one point, and the line is both accusation and plea. Anne's response is sharp, almost unkind. Stop blaming everyone else. Stop blaming Max. Stop blaming me. Stop blaming the president. The exchange feels like something I have overheard in my own bloodline, the moment when a mother's patience stretched across years of smaller disasters finally frays at the edge of a larger one. Yet even in the sharpness there is love. Anne cannot look away. That is the private contract this series keeps renewing, the mother who cannot look away. Even when looking costs her the comforting fiction that her children have somehow escaped the ordinary human capacity for self-sabotage. I keep returning to the small domestic details that frame the larger rupture. Schneider hovering at the edges with his counterintelligence kit and his jokes about wood curing. Alex being sent for homework and later for weenies on a stick. The way the apartment itself becomes a kind of listening device, every closed door amplifying the secrets it is meant to contain. These are not mere comic relief. They are the texture of a life that continues even while a marriage is ending. I have lived inside houses like this, houses where the television stays on, where someone still needs to be driven to school, where the superintendent's knock is both interruption and strange comfort. The script understands that family catastrophe rarely arrives with a clear soundtrack. It arrives while the phone is ringing, while the coffee is getting cold, while a child is asking who won the Peloponnesian Wars. There is a particular grief in watching Julie try to believe that Max will call. 7 days, she says. He has never stayed mad longer than a week. The hope is so fragile, it almost hurts to witness. I have known that arithmetic of longing, counting the days since the last argument, inventing reasons why the silence must mean something other than what it means. When she finally announces the pregnancy, the hope and the fear arrive in the same breath. I'm pregnant, she says. And the room changes temperature. Anne's first response is not pure joy. It is the complex adult recognition that a child is being invited into a house still full of broken glass. You got a husband who is insensitive to your feelings, you think he's cheating on you, you know you've cheated on him, and you're babbling on about bringing a baby into this mess. The words are hard, but they are not cruel. They are the words of a woman who has already raised 2 daughters through the aftermath of her own divorce and who knows better than most how little a baby can actually repair. I find myself lingering on Anne's face in these early scenes, or rather on the face the writing implies. Bonnie Franklin's performance always carried a particular quality of contained weather, the sense that storms were being managed just behind the eyes. Here that quality feels almost unbearable. She wants to care. She does care. And still she cannot pretend the timing is anything other than disastrous. When she finally softens, I'd love to care, the admission is small and complete. It is the sound of a mother choosing again to stay inside the difficulty rather than outside it. What the script understands and what continues to move me is that Julie's return is not simply a plot device. It is the reopening of a wound the family has never fully closed. The earlier years of the series were full of Julie's rebellions, her sudden departures, her attempts to invent a self large enough to hold her restlessness. This return carries all of those earlier selves inside it. The woman who once brought home a drunk as a church project is now the woman counting stewardesses and confessing an affair. The continuity is painful and strangely tender. I have watched people I love return to the rooms of their childhood carrying newer, heavier versions of the same old hungers. The recognition is never comfortable. It is, however, one of the few honest things families can still offer one another. There is also the matter of the men who are not yet in the room. Max is still a voice on the other end of a possible phone call, a schedule of flights, a pair of eyes that once looked at Julie as if she could kill him. Schneider is already performing his familiar role as the man who arrives with jokes and stays with unexpected feeling. Alex is still the child who notices everything and understands only fragments. The apartment is full of unfinished conversations. And the door that opened at the beginning of these pages has not yet closed. I keep thinking about the sound it made, the particular quiet that follows when someone who left returns carrying the proof that leaving did not solve what needed solving. In my own life there have been similar doors. People who came back changed, or who never left but somehow became strangers inside the same walls. The script does not offer easy consolation. It simply stays with the difficulty long enough for the difficulty to become visible. That is what I have always loved about this series at its best, the willingness to let the rooms fill with the actual weather of people's lives rather than the tidier climate of sitcom resolution. Julie is home. The marriage is broken. A child is possible. The mother is still trying to think constructively. The pure daughter is still trying to understand how purity failed to protect anyone. And somewhere outside the frame, a man who once loved this family is deciding whether the cost of staying is higher than the cost of walking away. I do not know even now how to end this particular meditation. The door remains open. The history remains unspoken in places and too loudly spoken in others. What I know is that the sound of that opening still reaches me. It reaches me in the way certain family arguments never fully resolve, in the way we keep inventing reasons to believe the people we love will straighten it out, in the way a single sentence "I'm pregnant" can rearrange every prior assumption about what a home is for. The script does not ask us to judge Julie cleanly. It asks us to sit with her in the rooms she has returned to and to notice how much of our own unspoken history is already waiting there. That is the private work this material continues to ask of me. Not to summarize the plot, not to assign moral grades, but to recognize the particular ache of a door opening onto a life that is still in the middle of becoming. Julie has come home. The rest of the story is already breathing in the quiet that follows. I remain as I have remained for years, listening to that quiet and finding inside it more of my own unfinished business than I ever expected to find in a half hour of network television. What we confess when we are exhausted, Julie's affair, and the quiet violence of honesty. There is a particular hour in the life of a family when the truth finally refuses to stay sealed inside one person's chest. It is rarely the dramatic hour we imagine. More often, it arrives when everyone is already tired, when the coffee has gone cold, when the child has been sent for homework, when the superintendent has already made his joke about privacy in the door. In this stretch of the script, that hour belongs to Julie. She does not deliver a polished confession. She simply runs out of the energy required to keep the secret intact, and the secret, sensing the weakness, steps forward on its own. I have known that exhaustion. I have sat in rooms where someone I loved finally said the thing that could not be unsaid, and the saying itself felt less like courage than like collapse. Julie's affair is not presented as a single reckless night framed by soft lighting and regretful music. It is presented as the almost inevitable outcome of a loneliness so ordinary it becomes dangerous. 200 flights a year. 16 stewardesses counted the way some people count rosary beads. The arithmetic of absence. What else am I supposed to do when I'm home alone? She asks, and the question is not rhetorical. It is the sound of a woman who has been left alone with her own hunger long enough that the hunger began to invent its own solutions. The name of the other man barely matters. Harvey, Harold. The script allows the name to blur because the identity of the third party is not the point. The point is the decision Julie made in the empty hours, and the second worst decision she made when she told Max. "That was the dumbest thing I ever did," she says of the telling, and the line carries a private bitterness I recognize. Sometimes the confession is more destructive than the act itself. Sometimes the need to be known outweighs the need to be forgiven. I have watched people I love choose the second wound deliberately as if the first wound were incomplete without a witness. Barbara's reaction is the pure daughter's reaction, and it is almost unbearable in its clarity. How could Julie do a thing like that? She's married. The sentence is not complicated. It does not need to be. For Barbara, the marriage vow is still a bright, unbroken line. She has not yet lived long enough inside a marriage to understand how the line can thin, how it can become something you step over without fully noticing until you are already on the other side. Her purity is both shield and limitation. When she calls herself shy, frustrated, stupid, and pure, the self-mockery is a form of self-protection. I have been that younger sister. I have also been the older one whose choices forced the younger one to decide whether love could survive disappointment. Neither position is comfortable. The script refuses to pretend otherwise. Anne's response is more complicated and therefore more familiar to me. She tries to think constructively. She tries to keep the moral temperature of the room from rising too high, and still the sharpness comes. Why don't you stop blaming everybody else for your affair? The sentence is a small violence delivered by someone who has spent years absorbing larger ones. I hear in it the accumulated fatigue of a mother who has already survived her own divorce, who has already watched her children invent new ways to hurt themselves, who has already learned that love does not automatically confer wisdom. When she adds the bitter joke about the president cutting sex out of the budget, the humor is a form of self-defense. It is the sound of a woman who still needs to believe she can control the emotional weather of her household even as the storm arrives. What the script understands with unusual clarity is that honesty, when it finally arrives, is rarely clean. Julie's confession does not purify the air, it thickens it. The blonde Amazon becomes a permanent resident of the living room. The stewardesses remain counted. The cheap shot about the affair remains cheap and still necessary. Schneider, hovering at the threshold with his theories about the nature of the male beast, tries to offer a kind of rough absolution. Men fall, the world understands. Women who fall are pathetic. The speech is both ridiculous and strangely tender. He is trying in his limited way to make the pain smaller by placing it inside a familiar story. Julie will not let him. The door closes on his good intentions, and the closing itself feels like a small act of dignity. I keep returning to the moment when Julie says she will have to live with this for the rest of her life. The sentence is not dramatic, it is simply true. Certain knowledge once admitted becomes a permanent resident of the self. I have carried similar knowledge. I have watched people I love carry it. The script does not offer the consolation that time will sand the edges smooth. It simply lets Julie sit with the new weight and notice how much heavier the ordinary furniture of the apartment has become. There is also the quiet matter of what the confession does to the listeners. Barbara's purity is bruised. Anne's constructive thinking is strained. Alex absorbs fragments and already begins the lifelong work of trying to assemble a coherent story from the pieces adults leave lying around. Schneider's comic mask slips just enough to reveal the man who once did not know about his own child until the child was 19. Everyone in the room is altered by the honesty, and none of them can return to the version of themselves that existed before the door opened. I find myself thinking about the particular violence of being known. Julie did not only sleep with another man, she required Max to know it. She required her mother and sister to know it. The requiring is its own form of aggression, even if the aggression is directed primarily at the self. There is a hunger in some confessions that has little to do with repentance and everything to do with the need to stop carrying the story alone. I have felt that hunger. I have also been the person forced to receive the story when I was not ready. The script holds both positions without ranking them. The language of the scene remains stubbornly domestic. No one speaks in arias. The dialogue keeps returning to homework, to the rights of privacy in the building, to the question of whether women talk about sex or about how much money a man makes. The ordinary talk is not a failure of the writing. It is the writing's deepest honesty. Catastrophe rarely arrives with a soundtrack. It arrives while someone is still trying to finish their algebra. while the superintendent is still inventing jokes about cured wood, while the pure daughter is still trying to decide whether love can survive the discovery that her sister is capable of ordinary human failure. What stays with me years after first encountering these pages is the way exhaustion becomes a kind of truth serum. Julie is too tired to keep performing the version of herself that the marriage required. Anne is too tired to pretend that constructive thinking will solve everything. Barbara is too tired to maintain the fiction that purity is a sufficient moral system. Even Schneider, for all his noise, seems tired of the role of the man who always has a theory. The exhaustion is shared, and in that sharing there is a strange reluctant intimacy. I do not know how to rank the damage. The affair itself is one kind of damage. The confession is another. The family's need to respond is a third. The child who may already be forming in the middle of this wreckage is a fourth. The script does not ask us to choose which wound matters most. It simply asks us to stay in the room while all of them are present at once. That request feels even now like an act of respect. Most stories hurry past this particular hour. This one refuses to hurry. In my own life, there have been similar hours, rooms where someone finally said the thing that changed the temperature permanently. Rooms where the pure ones discovered that purity had not protected them from knowledge. Rooms where the mother tried to think constructively and discovered that constructive thinking has limits. I have left some of those rooms. I have stayed in others. The choice is never clean. The script knows this. It lets Julie sit inside the knowledge of what she has done and what she has said, and it lets the rest of us sit with her not as judges but as people who have also at one time or another run out of the energy required to keep the more difficult truths unspoken. The quiet violence of honesty is not that it destroys, it is that it rearranges. The furniture of the self is moved, certain chairs can no longer be sat in the same way. Certain photographs on the wall begin to look like evidence rather than decoration. Julie has told the truth. The apartment will never again be the apartment that existed before the telling. That is the private cost the script is willing to name. I remain grateful for the naming even when the gratitude feels complicated. Even when the naming continues to reopen doors I had hoped were permanently closed. A child announced in the middle of ruins, pregnancy as both hope and reckoning. There are announcements that arrive like weather systems. They do not ask permission. They simply change the pressure in the room and force everyone present to decide in real time what kind of shelter they are capable of offering. Julie's pregnancy announcement is one of those systems. It does not come at the end of a careful conversation or after a night of quiet reflection. It comes in the middle of ordinary domestic traffic while hopes about Max's phone call are still being defended. While a new red dress is being admired, while the pure daughter and the tired mother are still trying to manage the emotional temperature of a marriage that has already cracked. I'm pregnant, she says, and the sentence is both a door opening and a door closing. I have sat in rooms where similar sentences were spoken. I have watched the faces around the table rearrange themselves into expressions that try and fail to contain both joy and dread at the same time. The script understands the impossibility of pure response. Anne's first instinct is not celebration. It is the adult recognition that a child is being invited into a house still full of broken glass. You got a husband who is insensitive to your feelings. You think he's cheating on you. You know you've cheated on him and you're babbling on about bringing a baby into this mess. The words are hard. They are also the most honest words available to a woman who has already raised 2 daughters through the aftermath of her own divorce and who knows in her bones how little a new life can actually repair the old fractures. Julie hears the hardness and answers with a hope so naked it almost hurts to witness. The baby will change everything. She will finally have someone to love without complication, and Max will want to take care of both of them. The logic is the logic of exhaustion and longing. I have known that logic. I have watched people I love reach for a child the way a drowning person reaches for anything that floats, even when the floating object is itself fragile and untested. The script does not mock the hope, it simply lets it stand beside the evidence that already contradicts it. Julie does not want Max to return only because of the baby. She says so, and still the baby is the only remaining card she believes she holds. The timing is what makes the announcement feel like a reckoning rather than a simple beginning. A week late. Never late. The body keeping its own stubborn calendar while the marriage was already dissolving. There is a private cruelty in that precision. The same body that sought comfort in another man's bed is now declaring a new allegiance, and the declaration arrives before any of the previous wreckage has been cleared. I keep thinking about the way Julie laughs when she recalls Max's joke that Grenache should call her. The laugh is a small attempt to keep the moment from becoming entirely solemn. It fails, of course. The solemnity is already in the room. It has been waiting. What moves me most is the way the script refuses to let the pregnancy become a tidy narrative solution. In lesser stories, the baby would arrive as proof that love can still win, that the marriage can still be salvaged, that the future will be brighter simply because a new life has been added to the ledger. Here the baby is both hope and evidence of how thoroughly the present has failed. Anne's softened "I'd love to care" is not the same as unreserved joy. It is the sound of a mother choosing, again, to stay inside the difficulty rather than outside it. When she says she wants to be a grandmother and claims not to have a gray hair that anybody knows about, the joke is tender and slightly desperate. It is the joke of a woman who has already begun calculating how much of her own remaining strength will be required. Barbara's reaction is quieter in this particular moment, but the quiet itself is telling. The pure daughter is being asked to become an aunt inside a story that has already challenged every moral clarity she thought she possessed. Alex, drifting through with his usual mixture of curiosity and self-protection, absorbs the news the way children absorb most adult catastrophes, partially and with an instinct for the comic deflection that might keep the room from collapsing. Robert's having a baby. He offers at one point a small absurdity that briefly dilutes the tension. The dilution does not last. It is not meant to. I find myself lingering on Julie's insistence that she is happy that part of her feels she has done something no one else in the world has ever done. The claim is both true and impossible. Every pregnancy is ordinary and every pregnancy is unprecedented for the person carrying it. The script lets both truths coexist. Julie is not a symbol. She is a woman whose body has made a decision her life is not yet prepared to support, and the gap between those two facts is where the real drama lives. There is also the matter of what the announcement does to the idea of Max. He is still largely absent. An expected phone call, a possible arrival, a pair of eyes that once looked as if they could kill. The baby rearranges his absence. It turns the silence into something more charged. Will he return because he loves her or because the arithmetic of responsibility has changed? Julie does not want the second reason. She says so clearly. And still she cannot stop hoping that the first reason might somehow be revived by the second. I have watched people I love perform the same emotional mathematics. The calculations rarely come out clean. Schneider's later reaction, the sudden grandfatherly delight, the memory of the child he did not know about until the child was 19, adds another layer of complicated feeling. His joy is real and also slightly comic, the joy of a man who has spent years performing larger-than-life certainty and who now finds himself moved by something small and unfinished. The script allows him the tenderness without requiring him to become wise. That permission feels important. Not every witness to a crisis needs to be transformed into a sage. Some only need to stay present and slightly absurd. What the writing understands with unusual grace is that a child announced in the middle of ruins does not automatically redeem the ruins. The ruins remain. The child simply becomes another reason to keep living inside them. Anne's practical suggestions: maybe you are not pregnant, maybe the lateness is only nerves or not cruelty. They are the last available form of protection. When Julie refuses the protection, the refusal itself is a form of courage. She is choosing to believe the body's news, even when the news complicates every other piece of news the family is already carrying. I keep returning to the domestic details that frame the announcement. The red dress bought on Anne's charge account. The oversized watch purchased for a man who may never wear it. The weenies on a stick that Schneider brings as a form of cheer. These objects are not incidental. They are the ordinary materials out of which a life continues even while a new life is being declared. The script refuses to clear the stage for the big moment. The stage remains cluttered with the evidence of the life that was already underway. That clutter feels to me like a form of respect for how people actually live. In my own experience, there have been similar announcements, rooms where the future suddenly acquired a new and irreversible resident. Rooms where hope and dread sat down at the same table and refused to leave. I have been the person trying to think constructively. I have been the person whose body made a decision the rest of the self was not ready for. I have been the witness who wanted to celebrate and could only manage a complicated care. The script does not resolve the complication. It simply stays with it long enough for the complication to become visible in all its ordinary stubbornness. Julie is pregnant. The marriage is still broken. Max has not yet called. The mother is still trying to protect everyone, including the child who does not yet have a name. The pure daughter is still learning that purity is not a sufficient response to the news that life continues to invent itself without consulting anyone's moral calendar. The superintendent is already practicing the role of delighted almost grandfather. The boy is still absorbing more than he can usefully organize. And somewhere in the middle of all this, a woman who has already confessed one form of ruin is trying to believe that a new life might somehow make the previous ruins less final. I do not know whether that belief is wisdom or necessity. The script does not decide for us. It simply lets the belief stand beside the evidence and asks us to notice how much of our own unfinished hope is already present in the noticing. The child has been announced. The ruins remain. The work of living inside both facts at once has only just begun. I remain as I have remained for years, sitting with that beginning and finding inside it more of my own complicated capacity for hope than I usually care to admit. There is a particular kind of mother who cannot look away even when looking costs her the last remaining fiction that her children might somehow be spared the ordinary human capacity for self-destruction. Anne Romano is that mother. In these pages she does not deliver speeches about unconditional love. She does something more difficult and more familiar to me. She stays in the room after the room has become unbearable. And she keeps trying to think constructively long after constructive thinking has revealed its limits. The private war she fights is not between love and anger. It is between the fierce desire to protect and the harder knowledge that some protections only postpone the necessary reckoning. I have known that war. I have watched it play out in the faces of women who raised children through divorces and affairs and sudden returns, women who learned that the maternal instinct to smooth every sharp edge eventually becomes its own form of damage. Anne's version of the war is conducted in the small ordinary language of an Indianapolis apartment rather than in areas. When Julie begins the familiar spiral of blame, if she had been more accepted, if Max had been different. If the family had been different, Anne's response is sharp enough to draw blood. Why don't you stop blaming everybody else for your affair? You blame Max Barbara me. While you're at it, why don't you blame the president unless he's cutting sex out of the budget too? The joke is bitter. The bitterness is earned. It is the sound of a woman who has already spent years absorbing the fallout of other people's choices, and who has reached the limit of what she can usefully absorb. And yet the sharpness never becomes abandonment. That is the private contract Anne keeps renewing. After the rebuke comes the softer admission, Julie, I really do care. After the care comes the practical suggestion that Max's plane may not have left yet, that a call is still possible. The movement between hardness and tenderness is not inconsistency. It is the only honest rhythm available to a mother who refuses both the luxury of pure condemnation and the luxury of pure rescue. I have tried to live inside that rhythm myself. It is exhausting. The script knows the exhaustion and does not romanticize it. What stays with me is the way Anne's protectiveness keeps colliding with her equally strong refusal to become Julie's permanent emotional buffer. When Julie floats the idea of raising the baby in the apartment with a loving grandmother and aunt, of turning the alcove into a nursery and joining parents without partners, Anne does not immediately endorse the plan. She sends Julie to the airport instead. You better go to the airport and talk to Max. The sentence is both instruction and boundary. Anne will not do the talking for her. She will, however, do the talking when Julie cannot. The distinction matters. It is the difference between a mother who enables and a mother who remains willing to stand in the gap when the gap becomes temporarily unbridgeable. The airport scene is where Anne's private war becomes most visible. She hates behaving like a mother-in-law. She says so. And still she cannot stand the silence one more minute. The conversation she forces with Max is not elegant. It is the conversation of a woman who has run out of quieter options. She does not plead, she reframes. Suppose Julie had stayed in design school. Suppose she had designed a line of men's clothing and spent her days in hot tubs with male models who had rippling muscles. The hypothetical is deliberately provocative. It is also precise. Anne is trying to make Max feel the specific texture of the jealousy and loneliness that Julie has been living inside. She is trying to translate one person's interior weather into a language the other person might finally hear. Max's resistance is familiar. He is not fooling around. He has told Julie 1,000 times. Her refusal to believe him is dumb and unreasonable. Anne's response to that resistance is the quiet heart of the scene. You are so damn stuck in being right that you don't listen to what she has to say. The line is not only about Max. It is about every person who has ever preferred the clean victory of being correct over the messier work of remaining in relationship. I have been that person. I have also been the person who needed someone else to name the stuckness out loud. Anne's willingness to name it without withdrawing her care for either party feels like a form of moral courage the series rarely receives enough credit for. There is a particular loneliness in Anne's position that the script allows us to feel without forcing her to articulate it directly. She is the one who has already survived the end of a marriage. She is the one who knows what it costs to rebuild a life with children still needing ordinary things like homework, help and clean pants and rides to the airport. When she looks at Julie's wreckage, she is also looking at a version of a road she has already traveled, and the recognition is not comforting. It is complicated. The mother who cannot look away is also the mother who cannot entirely separate her own history from the history unfolding in front of her. That entanglement is part of what makes her presence so costly and so necessary. I keep returning to the smaller moments that reveal the war most clearly. The way Anne buys the red dress on her charge account and accepts the possibility that it may become a Christmas present. The way she manages Alex's ripped pants and the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar disappointment while the larger crisis continues to breathe in the next room. The way she absorbs Schneider's theories and Barbara's purity and Julie's spiral without letting any single voice become the final word. These are not acts of heroism. They are acts of sustained attention. The script treats that attention as both ordinary and extraordinary, which is exactly how it feels when you have lived inside it. What the writing understands is that Anne's protectiveness is not the same as control. She cannot make Max listen. She cannot make Julie stop hoping that a baby will solve what the adults have broken. She cannot make Barbara's moral clarity more flexible or Schneider's comic interventions more useful. All she can do is refuse to leave the room. The refusal itself becomes a kind of answer to the question the series keeps asking. What does it mean to keep loving people who are in the middle of destroying the versions of themselves you had learned to love? I have asked that question in my own life. I have been the person who stayed. I have been the person who needed someone else to stay. The staying is never clean. It involves sharp words and soft admissions, practical suggestions, and the occasional bitter joke about presidential budgets. It involves the willingness to drive to an airport and say the difficult thing even when you hate the role the difficult thing requires you to play. Anne does all of this without the consolation of knowing whether any of it will work. That absence of consolation is what makes her presence feel real to me. There is also the matter of what Anne is protecting herself from. If she looks away, she might preserve a cleaner version of her own maternal narrative. If she lets Julie fully collapse into the role of permanent wounded daughter, she might avoid the harder work of treating her as an adult capable of both catastrophic error and possible repair. The private war is partly about refusing that easier path. Anne keeps insisting in actions more than in speeches. That Julie is still someone who can be expected to face the consequences of her own choices. The expectation is a form of respect. It is also a form of love that costs more than the softer alternatives. When Anne finally softens enough to say she would love to care about the pregnancy, the softening does not cancel the earlier hardness, both remain present. That coexistence feels to me like the most honest portrait of maternal love the series ever offered. Love as the willingness to hold contradictory truths in the same pair of hands. The child is coming. The marriage may not survive. The daughter is both wounded and responsible. The mother will not abandon the post. And she will not pretend the post is comfortable. I do not know how Anne sleeps in these days. The script does not show us. What it shows us is the daylight version of the war, the continued attention, the refusal to simplify the sharp sentences followed by the quieter admissions of care. I carry that daylight version with me. It has become one of the ways I recognize a certain kind of love when I see it in the world outside the screen, the love that cannot look away. Even when looking requires the constant renegotiation of how much protection is still useful and how much has become its own obstacle to growth. Julie has returned. The pregnancy has been announced. Max is still deciding. And Anne remains in the middle of it all, fighting the private war between the desire to gather every broken piece into her own hands, and the harder knowledge that some pieces can only be carried by the people who broke them. The war does not end in these pages. It simply continues as it continues in every household where someone has decided that looking away is no longer an option. I remain grateful for the continuation even when the gratitude feels complicated, even when the looking exacts its quiet cumulative price. There are conversations that take place in public spaces because the private ones have already failed. The airport scene between Anne and Max is one of those conversations. It happens under the fluorescent indifference of departure gates and the low-grade urgency of a man who still has 30 minutes before his flight. The setting is not accidental. Airports are designed for transit for people who are already halfway gone. Max is halfway gone in more ways than one, and Anne has come to stand in the gap before the gap becomes permanent. I have sat in similar spaces: hospital, waiting rooms, parking lots outside apartments, the neutral territory of coffee shops, trying to say the thing that could not be said inside the house where the history was too thick. The script understands the particular courage required to have the hard conversation in a place where neither party fully belongs. Anne hates behaving like a mother-in-law. She says so. And still she cannot stand the silence one more minute. That inability is the quiet engine of the scene. Max's opening posture is the posture of a man who has already decided the story. Julie has destroyed the marriage. She found something to do while he was away. The sentence is both accusation and self-protection. I recognize the move. When the pain is large enough, the simplest available narrative becomes a kind of raft. Max has climbed onto the raft of Julie's betrayal and is refusing for the moment to look at the water on his own side of the boat. Anne does not try to pull him off the raft immediately. She does something more interesting. She builds a parallel story and asks him to stand inside it. Suppose Julie had continued in design school. Suppose she had designed a line of men's clothing and spent her working days among male models with rippling muscles, traveling to interesting places, lingering in hot tubs in New Orleans. The hypothetical is deliberately sensual and deliberately threatening. It is also precise. Anne is not inventing a fantasy. She is translating Julie's actual experience of Max's absences into a language Max might finally feel in his body. The stewardesses. The 200 flights a year, the blonde Amazon. These have been abstractions to him, or at least manageable ones. The image of Julie surrounded by beautiful men who are paid to be looked at is harder to dismiss. Max's response is the first small crack. He might be a little jealous. The admission is reluctant and incomplete, but it is an admission. I have watched people I love reach exactly this point, the point where the protective story begins to fray and a more complicated feeling is allowed a brief appearance. The danger, of course, is that the brief appearance will be mistaken for resolution. Anne does not make that mistake. She presses. If Max can imagine the jealousy, then he can also imagine Julie's right to name it, to be angry about it, to demand that it be discussed rather than dismissed. What follows is the heart of the scene and the reason this part of the script has stayed with me for years. Max returns to the safer ground of being correct. He is not fooling around. He has told Julie 1,000 times. Her refusal to believe him is dumb and unreasonable. The language of pride is fully present now. Being right has become more important than being in relationship, and names it without flinching. You are so damn stuck in being right that you don't listen to what she has to say. The sentence is not a rhetorical flourish, it is a diagnosis. I have been the person stuck in being right. I have felt the clean, almost physical satisfaction of occupying the higher moral ground while the other person flailed in what I had decided was their own irrationality. The satisfaction is real. It is also a form of exile. The script understands that exile and refuses to let Max remain comfortable inside it. Anne keeps returning him to Julie's actual interior whether she is scared, she is jealous. And the fear and jealousy are real to her even if Max has decided they should not be. The distinction between what is true and what is real is one of the quiet philosophical achievements of the scene. Max may be telling the truth about his fidelity. Julie is still living inside a reality in which his absences feel like abandonment and his professional proximity to beautiful women feels like a constant low-grade threat. Both things can be true at the same time. Pride is what prevents the simultaneous holding of both truths. There is a particular loneliness in Max's position that the writing allows us to feel without requiring him to become suddenly eloquent about it. He is a man whose work takes him away as a matter of routine. The awayness has become ordinary to him. It has not become ordinary to the person waiting at home. The asymmetry is not anyone's fault in the simple sense, but it is still an asymmetry that requires ongoing translation. Max has stopped translating. He has begun to treat Julie's continued distress as a failure of her reason rather than a failure of their shared language. Anne is trying to restart the translation. Whether she succeeds is less important than the fact that she is willing to attempt it in a place designed for departures. I keep returning to the small physical details the script supplies. The 30 minutes until the flight. The offer of coffee. The way Max's body language even on the page suggests a man who is already partially in the air. These details matter because they keep the conversation from floating free of the ordinary pressures that shape most difficult talks. People do not usually have unlimited time or perfect privacy when the important things need saying. They have fluorescent lights and departure announcements and the knowledge that one of them will soon be somewhere else. The constraint is part of what makes the exchange feel true. What the scene understands about pride is that it is not simply vanity. It is a form of self-protection that has outlived its usefulness. Max's pride once may have been the necessary armor of a man trying to build a life in a demanding profession. Now it has become the thing that prevents him from hearing the person he claims to love. Anne's intervention is an attempt to make the armor visible so that Max might even briefly consider setting it down. The attempt is not gentle. It is not meant to be. Some forms of care require the willingness to be temporarily unwelcome. I have been on both sides of conversations like this one. I have been the person who needed someone else to name the stuckness. I have been the person who arrived in the neutral space, and tried to say the difficult thing before the flight boarded or the door closed or the chance disappeared. Neither role is comfortable. Both require a kind of moral stamina that the culture rarely celebrates because the results are so rarely clean. Max does not suddenly become a better listener in this scene. He does not weep or apologize or cancel his flight in a surge of new understanding. He remains largely himself. And still the conversation has happened. The words have been said. The possibility of a different kind of hearing has been placed on the table even if Max is not yet ready to pick it up. There is also the quiet presence of the third man who is not in the airport but whose shadow falls across the conversation. The man Julie slept with. Max's pride is partly about not being that man, about having remained faithful while Julie did not. The moral high ground is real. It is also incomplete. Anne refuses to let the incompleteness remain invisible. Fidelity is not the same as attention. Presence is not the same as the mere absence of betrayal. The distinctions are subtle and necessary. And the script is willing to spend time inside them. When Max finally leaves the conversation, he leaves still largely defended. The defense is understandable. The cost of lowering it would be the immediate necessity of feeling the full weight of Julie's pain without the buffer of being right. Most of us would hesitate. The script does not condemn the hesitation. It simply records it and lets Anne's words remain in the air after Max has gone. That residual presence feels important. Some interventions do not produce immediate conversion. They produce a delayed echo that may or may not eventually be heard. I carry this scene with me as one of the clearest portraits the series ever offered of the limits of being right. The limits are not intellectual, they are relational. You can be correct about the facts and still fail the person you love. You can have told the truth 1,000 times and still not have been present in the way presence was required. Anne's insistence on this distinction is a form of love directed at both Max and Julie. It is also a form of respect for the difficulty of the work. The work is not to decide who is more wrong. The work is to keep open the possibility that both people are suffering inside a shared situation that neither of them fully understands. Max has a flight to catch. Anne has a daughter at home who is pregnant and still hoping. The airport continues its indifferent business of arrivals and departures. And somewhere between the fluorescent lights and the departure gate a conversation has taken place that neither participant will be able to unhear even if one of them is not yet ready to admit how much of it landed. That unreadiness is part of the truth the scene is willing to tell. I remain grateful for the telling. Even when the gratitude includes the recognition of how often I have been the person who boarded the flight still clutching the cleaner story of my own correctness. There are objects that become evidence before anyone intends them to. A scarf left under the seat of a car is never only a scarf. It is a message the body sends when the mouth is still busy insisting on the opposite. In these pages, Barbara Cooper leaves her scarf in Mark Royer's car after a night that began with dinner plans and ended with a forced detour through the industrial darkness of Kokomo, Indiana. She returns home furious, calling him every feeble name she can invent, declaring that she never wants to see the nerd again. And still the scarf remains behind. The script understands that the remaining is not an accident. It is the small ritual through which ambivalence begins to speak. I have left things behind. A glove, a book, a cheap pair of sunglasses that suddenly became necessary to retrieve. I have also been the person who found the left-behind object and had to decide what it meant. The ritual is older than any of us. Schneider names it immediately and with the weary accuracy of a man who has cleaned out more than one camper. Whenever a girl wants a guy to call her, she conveniently leaves something in his car. Barbara denies it. Of course, she denies it. The denial is part of the ritual. To admit the intention would be to admit the desire, and the desire is still too complicated, too mixed with residual anger to be owned cleanly. What moves me about this particular strand of the story is how carefully the script refuses to simplify Barbara's feelings. She is not secretly in love while pretending otherwise. She is genuinely angry about the Kokomo detour, genuinely offended by Mark's refusal to deliver her home on time to meet Jack, genuinely uncertain whether the man who would drive her halfway across the state out of wounded pride is not someone she wants to see again. And still the scarf stays. The staying is the part of her that is not yet finished with the conversation. I recognize that unfinished part. I have felt it in myself the way the body sometimes continues a relationship the mind has already tried to declare over. Anne sees the move for what it is and responds with the dry maternal clarity that has become her signature. The scarf was old anyway. Scarves like that are hard to replace. The practical observation is also a gentle exposure. Barbara can claim the leaving was accidental, but the claim will not survive contact with people who have lived long enough to know the difference between accident and invitation. Schneider's list of objects he has found over the years, an accordion of all things, adds the necessary comic scale without dissolving the emotional truth. The ritual is common enough to be funny. It is also common enough to be serious. When Barbara finally calls Mark to retrieve the scarf, the conversation is brief and almost businesslike. He will mail it, parcel post. The bureaucratic solution is its own small rejection, or perhaps its own small self-protection. Mark, too, has been living inside ambivalence. He has been the man who refused to be the convenient dinner date before the real boyfriend arrived. He has been the man who turned a single cup of coffee into a multi-hour drive through the Indiana night. Now he will not even return the scarf in person. The mailing is a boundary. It is also possibly a test. The script leaves the intention delicately unresolved, which feels exact. Ambivalence rarely announces its next move with clarity. What follows is the quieter, more sustained portrait of a young woman living inside mixed feelings she does not yet have clean language for. Barbara spends the next days irritated by Mark's silence and equally irritated by her own irritation. He has not called. He has not written. He has not tried to see her. The absence bugs her, and the fact that it bugs her further. Anne names the condition with the precision of someone who has watched this particular weather system form before. Barbara is bugged, annoyed, and though she will not accept the word, intrigued. When Barbara finally offers ambivalent as a compromise, the concession itself is a form of progress. Ambivalence is at least a more honest container than pure rejection. I have lived inside that container. The early stages of wanting someone while still resenting the terms on which the wanting became visible are some of the most disorienting emotional territory I know. You are angry at the other person for the power they suddenly hold, and angry at yourself for having handed them that power through a gesture as small as a forgotten scarf. The script stays with the disorientation rather than rushing Barbara toward resolution. She is allowed to remain contradictory. She is allowed to insist she wants nothing further while simultaneously inventing reasons to cross paths again. The invention arrives in the form of t-shirts. Alex's baseball team needs new shirts. Mark makes t-shirts. The connection is almost too neat, and Barbara knows it. She announces the plan with the brittle brightness of someone who is trying to convince herself that the motive is purely practical. She will be honest, she says. She will see Mark about the t-shirts and only the t-shirts. The honesty is already a form of strategy. Francine, who understands the game better than most, offers the older woman's counsel: be honest about what you want, then cheat and lie to get it. The advice is cynical and strangely affectionate. It recognizes that pure transparency is sometimes a luxury the ambivalent cannot yet afford. What the writing captures with unusual delicacy is the way small rituals of desire coexist with larger, more public identities. Barbara is still the pure daughter in the family drama of Julie's return and pregnancy. She is still the young woman navigating the overlapping claims of Jack and Mark. She is still the daughter whose mother worries when she is late and whose younger almost brother needs her to remain a stable presence. The scarf and its aftermath do not replace those other roles. They simply add another layer of private weather that the public self must somehow carry. I have carried similar layered weather. The effort of appearing consistent while internally contradictory is one of the quieter fatigues of early adulthood. Mark's eventual reappearance with a dozen shark t-shirts and a single red rose is the moment when the ritual completes its first full cycle. He has come for the practical reason. He has also come for the other reason. The rose is not subtle. Neither is the admission that follows. He finagled the dinner invitation because he wanted to see her again. The word finagled is perfect, slightly comic, slightly ashamed, entirely human. Barbara's response is the response of someone whose ambivalence has not yet resolved into clarity. She does not melt. She also does not send him away. The evening proceeds fragile and charged under the surveillance of Schneider and the ordinary domestic pressure of a dinner that must still be cooked and served. I keep returning to the scarf itself as an object. It is never described in detail. We do not know its color or its texture, or whether it still carries the scent of the night in Kokomo. The lack of detail feels right. The power of the left-behind object is not in its specificity. It is in its capacity to keep a conversation open when both parties have already tried to declare it closed. The scarf is a placeholder for everything Barbara is not yet ready to say, and everything Mark is not yet ready to stop hoping for. In that sense, it is one of the most eloquent objects the series ever placed in a character's hands. There is also the quieter matter of what the ritual reveals about Barbara's emerging understanding of her own desire. She is no longer the teenager whose romantic life could be managed by maternal advice and curfews. She is becoming someone who generates her own complications and then has to live inside them. The scarf is evidence of that becoming. It is a small, almost embarrassed declaration that she is capable of wanting something she also resents, of leaving a door open while insisting she wants it closed. The capacity for that contradiction is part of what it means to grow up. The script treats the growth with a respect that does not require Barbara to become suddenly wise. I have left scarves and their equivalents. I have retrieved them. I have mailed them back and regretted the mailing. I have received the mailed object and felt the strange mixture of relief and disappointment that arrives when the other person chooses the safer, less intimate solution. The ritual continues because the underlying condition continues. Ambivalence is not a problem to be solved once. It is a weather system that returns whenever desire and self-protection find themselves sharing the same small space. Barbara is learning to live inside that weather. The learning is awkward and sometimes comic and occasionally painful. It is also in its ordinary way a form of courage. The scarf has been left. The scarf has been requested. The scarf has been mailed. And still the conversation the scarf began has not ended. It has only changed mediums from object to telephone call to t-shirt order to dinner table. The mediums change. The ambivalence remains stubborn and alive and still trying to find a language large enough to hold both the wanting and the wariness. I remain grateful for the script's willingness to stay with that stubbornness rather than resolving it into a cleaner, less truthful shape. Some feelings do not resolve, they simply continue leaving small objects behind them as proof that they were here. There are dinners that are not primarily about food. They are negotiations conducted with silverware and careful sentences with the shared fiction that everyone present has arrived for a simple practical reason. Barbara's dinner for Mark is one of those negotiations. It begins with a dozen shark t-shirts and the polite lie that the evening is about commerce rather than the unfinished business of Kokomo. It ends with talk of wedding nights and the terrifying possibility that ambivalence might be resolving itself into something more dangerous. Between those 2 points, the script allows us to watch two people try and mostly fail to keep their wanting safely hidden behind ordinary talk. I have cooked dinners like this one. I have set a table while rehearsing the version of the evening in which nothing irreversible would be said. I have also been the guest who arrived with a practical offering, the bottle of wine, the borrowed tool, the completed favor, while carrying a quieter hope that the practical offering might be allowed to become something else. The script understands the double intention and refuses to punish either character for it. Barbara needs the cover of the t-shirts. Mark needs the cover of delivering them. Both covers are thin. Both are necessary. The courage the scene ultimately honors is not the courage of sudden honesty. It is the courage of remaining present while the covers slowly become transparent. Mark arrives with the shirts and a single red rose. The rose is not subtle. Neither is the admission that follows once Schneider has been maneuvered out of the room. He finagled the invitation. The word is perfect, slightly comic, slightly ashamed, entirely accurate. He wanted to see her again. He has been living inside the same ambivalence that has been living inside her. The mutual recognition is brief and charged. Barbara does not collapse into gratitude. She also does not send him away. The evening is allowed to continue under the new, more honest weather. What follows is a master class in the ordinary terror of early connection. They talk about the first disastrous night. They talk about the insults she threw and the way those insults somehow became proof of interest. They raise glasses to ambivalence itself. The toast is both joke and confession. I have made similar toasts. I have sat across from someone and felt the simultaneous desire to move closer and to protect the exit routes. The script stays inside that simultaneous feeling rather than forcing a premature choice. The courage it celebrates is the courage to let the contradiction remain visible. Schneider's interruption is not merely comic relief, it is the world refusing to clear the stage for private emotion. He arrives with an urgent lodge emergency 54 t-shirts for the secret order of beavers needed by morning, a clear profit of $135 that could buy a new set of golf clubs. The offer is real. The timing is catastrophic. Mark's decision to turn it down is the first clear signal that the ambivalence is beginning to tip. He chooses the Cornish hen and the uncertain evening over the guaranteed money and the safer role of the man who only came to deliver shirts. The choice is small and enormous at the same time. I have made similar choices, turning down the practical good in favor of the emotional risk, and I still remember the particular silence that follows the turning down. The dinner itself proceeds under the pressure of that choice. The food is elaborate enough to reveal effort and simple enough to maintain the fiction of casualness. Rock Cornish game hen, wild rice almondine, watercress salad, a simple flan. Barbara has calculated the presentation with the same care she once calculated the scarf. Too much fuss would expose the wanting. Too little would suggest indifference. The balance is delicate and slightly desperate. Mark notices. Of course he notices. The noticing becomes another form of intimacy. When the conversation turns toward the future, it does so with the reckless speed of people who have been holding back too long. Mark asks whether Barbara is trying to make him fall in love with her. The question is half joke and half plea. Her refusal to answer cleanly only deepens the charge. Then comes the talk of wedding nights, of how little they know each other, of how that lack of knowledge might itself be an advantage. The proposal, if it can be called a proposal, arrives wrapped in the same ambivalence that has defined everything else. He cannot ask on the second date, he could not have asked on the first, perhaps the 30th. Perhaps 6 weeks from Thursday if they maintain a certain average. The arithmetic is comic, the need underneath it is not. I keep returning to the way the script allows both characters to remain partially defended even as they move closer. Barbara does not suddenly declare that the Kokomo night is forgiven. Mark does not pretend that her earlier insults left no mark. The connection that is forming is not the connection of two people who have resolved their contradictions. It is the connection of two people who have decided, at least for this evening, to remain in the same room with the contradictions still alive. That decision feels to me like a form of maturity the series rarely receives enough credit for portraying. There is also the quieter presence of the family that surrounds the dinner without fully entering it. Alex and his t-shirt needs, Schneider and his lodge and his inability to read a room, Anne and the larger crisis of Julie that continues to breathe in the background. The dinner is not happening in a vacuum. It is happening inside a household already strained by other forms of wanting and failing and trying again. The strain does not diminish the private stakes of the evening. It simply places them in scale. Barbara's ambivalence about Mark is not the only ambivalence the apartment is currently required to hold. What the writing captures with particular tenderness is the moment when the evening begins to feel too successful. Mark names the fear first. When something starts this well, the ending is usually painful. Barbara's response that she is already home is both reassurance and boundary. The home advantage is real. It is also a form of protection. She can afford to let the evening continue because the exit is still geographically near. I have used similar protections. The knowledge that one can always stand up and begin clearing plates is sometimes the only thing that makes the deeper conversation possible. The kiss, when it finally arrives, is not framed as a resolution. It is framed as another piece of data in the ongoing negotiation. It did not feel awkward. It felt right. The rightness is acknowledged, and then immediately complicated by the return of ordinary logistics, the smell of something possibly burning, the need to check the oven, the practical reality that even the most charged evenings eventually require someone to tend to the food. The script's refusal to let the romantic moment float free of the domestic is one of its quiet strengths. Desire has to live alongside the flan. The coexistence is part of what makes the desire believable. I have lived through dinners that began as pretexts and ended as turning points. I have watched the practical offering become an emotional opening. I have felt the terror of realizing that the ambivalence I had been using as protection was beginning to dissolve into something more committed and therefore more dangerous. The script stays with that terror rather than rushing past it toward a cleaner emotional landing. Barbara and Mark do not leave the table as a settled couple. They leave it as two people who have risked a little more honesty than either of them planned, and who now have to live with the consequences of the risk. The t-shirts remain. The rose remains. The turned-down golf clubs remain as evidence of a choice that can still be second-guessed in the morning. And the ambivalence, though dented, remains available as a possible refuge if the clearer feelings become too much. That availability feels important. The scene does not demand that either character surrender every defense. It only asks them to set a few of the defenses down long enough to see what might happen in the undefended space. The asking is gentle and relentless at the same time. In the end, the dinner is both success and beginning. It does not solve the problem of Jack. It does not erase the Kokomo night. It does not turn Barbara into someone who can want cleanly or Mark into someone who can ask for what he wants without the cover of comedy. What it does is allow both of them to practice the difficult art of staying in the room while the wanting becomes visible. The practice is awkward and comic and occasionally profound. It is also, in its ordinary way, one of the bravest things the episode asks of its younger characters. I carry this dinner with me as a reminder that some of the most important negotiations of a life are conducted over food that someone has gone to too much trouble to prepare under the cover of errands that fooled no one in the presence of interruptions that refuse to respect the privacy of the moment. The courage required is not the courage of the grand declaration. It is the courage of remaining ambivalent a little longer than is comfortable, and then remaining present a little longer than the ambivalence would prefer. Barbara and Mark manage that courage for one evening. The management is imperfect and human and enough. There are people who enter every room already performing. The performance is not false exactly. It is a form of architecture, a way of building a self sturdy enough to withstand the ordinary weather of other people's crises. Dwayne Schneider is one of those people. In these pages, he arrives with jokes about cured wood and counterintelligence kits with weenies on a stick offered as emotional first aid, with urgent lodge business about the secret order of beavers that cannot wait for anyone else's dinner to conclude. The comic mask is so consistent that it becomes possible to mistake it for the whole man. The script at its best refuses that mistake. It keeps allowing small ruptures through which another Schneider becomes briefly visible. The one who remembers a child he did not know about until the child was 19, the one who turns down a clear profit because a young woman has in tins cooked a Cornish hen, the one who understands more about loneliness than his noise would ever suggest. I have known people like Schneider. I have been protected by their noise and occasionally exhausted by it. I have also on certain late evenings seen the mask slip far enough to reveal the private inventory of losses they carry behind the punchlines. The series has always understood that Schneider's bluster is not the opposite of feeling. It is one of the ways feeling survives in a man who has decided that direct vulnerability is too expensive for daily use. In this stretch of story, the expense becomes more visible than usual. Julie's marriage is collapsing. A baby has been announced. Barbara is negotiating her own complicated wanting. Anne is holding the emotional center of a household that keeps threatening to tilt. And Schneider keeps arriving with the only tools he trusts: the joke, the interruption, the sudden offer of something practical that might also be love. The weenies on a stick are a perfect example. He brings them because he has heard that something is wrong and because he does not know a more elegant form of comfort. The offering is absurd and strangely tender. It is the gesture of a man who has learned that food can sometimes reach places words cannot. When the pregnancy news finally reaches him, his delight is immediate and slightly comic, the sudden grandfatherly enthusiasm of a man who has been waiting for any excuse to claim a larger role in this family. And then almost in the same breath the memory surfaces: Estelle, the separation, the son he did not meet until the boy was already grown. The juxtaposition is not subtle. The script places the new joy directly beside the old absence and lets both stand. Schneider's happiness for Julie is real. So is the private knowledge of how easily a man can miss the central facts of his own life. I keep returning to that memory because it feels like one of the keys to the character. Schneider performs certainty. He performs the role of the man who has seen everything and can explain the nature of the male beast in 3 easy sentences. Yet underneath the performance lives the evidence of a life that has included profound not knowing. He did not know about his own child. The not knowing is not presented as a moral failure so much as a fact of a certain kind of masculine distance, the distance that can accumulate until entire chapters of a life have happened without one's participation. When he tells the story, he does not ask for sympathy. He simply places it on the table as one more piece of the weather. The restraint feels important. Some confessions are more powerful because they refuse to become the main event. The Lodge T-shirt emergency during Barbara's dinner is pure Schneider theater, and yet it also reveals something quieter. 54 shirts for the Secret Order of Beavers. A misunderstanding about the word loyal. A clear profit of $135 that could buy a new set of Lee Trevino woods. The details are comic, almost vaudevillian. But the timing is not accidental. Schneider interrupts the delicate negotiation between Barbara and Mark at the exact moment when the evening is beginning to tip from pretext into possibility. His interruption is both the world refusing to clear the stage and a man who cannot bear too much unmediated intimacy in the rooms he considers partly his own. When Mark turns the job down, Schneider's reaction is a mixture of disbelief and something that might be respect. The golf clubs lose. The uncertain dinner wins. Schneider, for all his noise, recognizes the choice as significant. What the writing allows us to see is that Schneider's comic mask is not only self-protection. It is also a form of care. He keeps the emotional temperature of the apartment from rising too high by continually introducing the possibility of laughter. Sometimes the laughter is a gift. Sometimes it is a way of refusing to let the harder feelings claim the entire space. Both functions are real. Anne knows this. She tolerates his intrusions with the weary affection of someone who has calculated that the alternative Schneider without the jokes might be more difficult to live with. Barbara rolls her eyes and still makes room. Even Julie, in the middle of her own wreckage, accepts the weenies and the theories about male weakness as part of the strange ecosystem that keeps the household functioning. There is a particular loneliness that lives inside the role Schneider has built for himself. He is the superintendent who is always available and never fully included. He is the man who can fix the outlet and diagnose the fried cockroach, but who remains in some essential way a visitor in the family he has adopted. The lodge, with its beer busts and chili bake-offs and elaborate titles, is one of the places where that loneliness is both eased and reinforced. Among the Beavers he can be large. He can be the man who brings the gorgeous dates and earns the nickname that compares him to a certain kind of celebrity. The largeness is real, and also compensatory. The script never fully explains what Schneider is compensating for, and the restraint feels right. Some loneliness does not want to be solved, it only wants to be allowed to exist beside the noise. I have watched men like Schneider move through the lives of families they love but do not quite belong to. The position is complicated. They are granted access and denied full membership at the same time. They become experts in the household's rhythms and still find themselves at certain critical moments on the wrong side of a closed door. Schneider's response to that position has always been to increase the volume of his presence. If he cannot be central, he will be unignorable. The strategy works until it does not. In these episodes, the limits of the strategy become more visible. The crises unfolding around him, Julie's marriage, the pregnancy, Barbara's ambivalent opening toward Mark, are too large to be managed by jokes alone. Schneider keeps offering the jokes anyway. The offering is both failure and fidelity. The sudden tenderness arrives in small increments. The way he looks at the possibility of a new baby and finds himself moved. The way he accepts Mark's refusal of the lodge job without turning the refusal into a prolonged performance of offense. The way he continues to show up even when the showing up is awkward or poorly timed. These moments do not transform him into a different character. They simply reveal the character that has been present all along, beneath the architecture of the comic mask. I find myself more moved by those small revelations than by any larger speech the series might have given him. Tenderness that arrives without announcement is somehow more credible. There is also the matter of how Schneider understands women. His theories are often ridiculous. Men fall because they are weak. Women who fall are pathetic. The world understands one failure and condemns the other. The theories are the product of a certain generation and a certain defensive posture. And yet the same man, who delivers them, is also capable of recognizing in practice that the women in this apartment are not theories. They are Anne, who keeps the household from collapsing. They are Julie, who has made a catastrophic choice and is still trying to live. They are Barbara, who is learning the complicated arithmetic of wanting. Schneider's care for them is more intelligent than his explanations of them. The gap between the care and the explanations is one of the character's most human qualities. I keep thinking about the secret order of beavers as a kind of metaphor for Schneider himself. An organization with an elaborate name, a misunderstanding about loyalty, a need for matching shirts, a membership that provides both belonging and a stage for performance. Schneider has built a similar structure around his own presence in the Romano household. The structure is comic and a little absurd, and occasionally genuine. It allows him to remain close without having to risk the deeper forms of exposure that full membership might require. When the structure is threatened by a baby that might change the household's center of gravity by a young man's willingness to choose an uncertain dinner over a clear profit, Schneider responds by intensifying the performance. The intensification is both protective and revealing. In the end, the comic mask does not come off. The series is wise enough not to force that particular transformation. What happens instead is more interesting. The mask remains in place, and through it we are allowed to see more clearly than usual the loneliness and the tenderness and the stubborn loyalty that have always lived underneath. Schneider continues to interrupt, he continues to offer food that no one asked for, he continues to diagnose the nature of the male beast with unwarranted confidence. And still he remains in his complicated way one of the people who keeps the household from becoming entirely unmoored. The remaining is a form of love. The noise is part of how the love is delivered. I have needed people like Schneider in my own life, people whose care arrived wrapped in performance, whose loyalty was louder than it was graceful, whose loneliness made them both generous and occasionally exhausting. I have also been at times the person who used noise as architecture. The recognition is not always comfortable. The script allows that discomfort to remain present without demanding that it be resolved. Schneider is still Schneider. The mask is still the mask. And beneath it, more visible now than in quieter episodes, lives the man who once missed a child and who is determined in his own imperfect way not to miss the next chance to be needed. The lodge shirts will be printed or they will not. The golf clubs will be purchased or they will remain on sale. The Cornish hen will be eaten. The baby will arrive or the fear will prove unfounded. And Schneider will continue to show up, comic mask firmly in place, carrying whatever offering he believes the moment requires. The showing up is the part that stays with me. Everything else, the jokes, the theories, the elaborate titles, is only the method. The method is flawed and human and, in the final accounting, enough. There are people who enter a story already carrying a different set of tools. Sophie DeGilio arrives in the Indianapolis apartment with the practical knowledge of someone raised among hardware and wiring, among the ordinary competence of people who fix things rather than merely inhabit them. She is Anne's cousin from Logan Square, a woman who knows the difference between needle nose and pug pliers, who can smell a fried cockroach in an outlet, who has an uncle who runs a brewery and a grandfather who was an electrician full of old wheezes. The script introduces her without fanfare, and yet her presence begins immediately to rearrange the emotional furniture of Schneider's carefully constructed world. I have known women like Sophie. I have watched them move through rooms full of more theatrical personalities and quietly become the person everyone eventually turns to when something actually needs doing. Their competence is not performed, it is simply available. In these pages that availability becomes a kind of quiet challenge to Schneider's usual economy of attraction. He has built a reputation on flash, the gorgeous dates, the lodge nickname that compares him to a certain kind of celebrity. The careful cultivation of an image that prioritizes surface. Sophie does not compete on that terrain. She simply exists on another one, and the existence begins to exert its own gravity. The first meeting is pure domestic comedy. Schneider is in the middle of a date with Maxine Meeps, known to one and all as Heaps of Meeps, a woman who fits the established pattern of Schneider's public preferences. Sophie arrive. Introductions are made. The outlet needs attention. Within minutes, Sophie is diagnosing the problem with the same calm authority Schneider usually reserves for himself. The shift is subtle and unmistakable. For a moment, the superintendent is not the most competent person in the room. The moment does not humiliate him. It interests him. Interest for Schneider is a more dangerous feeling than desire. Desire he understands. Interest threatens to rearrange the criteria by which he has learned to choose. What follows is one of the more delicate portraits of masculine softening the series ever attempted. Schneider takes Maxine bowling and ends up at a lumberyard because Sophie has mentioned she loves the smell of fresh pine. The substitution is almost transparent. He is already translating one woman's presence into the evening of another. The bowling ball bet the $5 wager about whether a bowling ball will float is pure Schneider theater. And yet the theater is being performed for an audience that is no longer present. When he returns wet and slightly sheepish, the story he tells is already the story of a man beginning to recalibrate. Looks are not that important, personality matters. The statements are not yet fully believed. They are being tried on the way one tries on a new jacket to see whether the shoulders might someday fit. I keep returning to the hardware store heart of Sophie's character because it feels like the precise counterweight the story needs. Schneider has spent years performing a certain kind of urban slightly seedy competence, the man who can fix the building and also fix a night with the right joke and the right date. Sophie's competence is quieter and more rooted. It comes from a family that ran a store that understood tools as extensions of care rather than proofs of status. When she handles the pliers or discusses the teeth of a hacksaw blade, she is not showing off. She is simply speaking the language she was raised inside. Schneider hears the language and recognizes, perhaps for the first time in a long while, a form of kinship that has nothing to do with the lodge or the carefully maintained image. The poker game is where the kinship becomes public. Sophie sits down with the lodge regulars Beer Belly Roscoe, the killer walrus of the table, and proceeds to clean them out with the calm of someone who learned the game during winters when the only alternatives were cards or shooting. Elika. The men are astonished. Schneider is something more complicated than astonished. He is watching a woman occupy the space he usually reserves for himself and finding that the occupation does not diminish him. It enlarges the possible. When the Lodge brothers begin to speak of her as one of the boys, the designation is both compliment and limitation. Sophie is more than that, and Schneider is beginning to suspect it. The question of the annual Lodge dance becomes the quiet arena in which Schneider's values are tested. Maxine is the safer choice, the creme de la creme, the woman who will enhance his reputation among men who measure success partly by the beauty of the company they keep. Sophie is the riskier one. She is not flashy. She will not automatically generate the same envious commentary. And yet she is the one he keeps returning to in conversation, the one whose hair he finds himself considering. The one whose presence has begun to make the old criteria feel slightly obsolete. When Barbara and Anne press him on the choice, his defensiveness is the defensiveness of a man who is already changing and is not yet ready to admit the change out loud. I have watched men I care about go through similar quiet revolutions. The softening rarely arrives as a sudden conversion. It arrives as a series of small betrayals of the previous self, the evening that does not follow the established pattern, the compliment that emphasizes character over surface, the decision to forego the more impressive option in favor of the one that feels against all prior training more interesting. Schneider is in the middle of that series. The script does not force him to complete it. It simply stays with the discomfort of the middle, where the old values are still available and the new ones have not yet become fully reliable. There is a particular tenderness in the way Sophie refuses to perform for Schneider's usual expectations. She does not try to be the most beautiful woman in the room. She does not try to be the most sophisticated. She simply remains herself, practical game capable of both poker and the quiet admission that she likes him enough to hope for the Lodge dance invitation. The hope is not desperate. It is the hope of someone who has already survived enough winters to know that some invitations arrive and some do not, and that either outcome is survivable. That self-possession is part of what makes her presence so destabilizing for Schneider. He is used to women who need his performance. Sophie does not need it. She can take it or leave it. The option of leaving it is what forces him to consider whether the performance is still the best he has to offer. The lumber yard and the floating bowling ball become in retrospect a kind of courtship conducted in the language Sophie understands. Schneider cannot seduce her with the usual Lodge-certified methods. He has to meet her on the terrain of practical experiment and ordinary absurdity. The wet walk back from the lake, the squishing shoes, the slightly abashed retelling of the night, these are the gestures of a man who is learning a new dialect. The learning is imperfect. He still checks Maxine's status. He still measures Sophie against the old criteria of flash, and still the measuring is becoming less automatic. The hardware store heart is beginning to exert its influence on the man who has spent years prioritizing a different set of values. What the writing captures with unusual grace is the absence of mockery. Sophie is not presented as the wholesome correction to Schneider's more vulgar tastes. She is presented as a complete person whose completeness happens to include a form of competence and self-possession that Schneider has not recently encountered. The encounter does not reform him overnight. It simply opens a door he had not noticed was available. Whether he walks through the door remains at the end of these pages. An open question. The openness feels right. Some softenings take more than one evening at a lumber yard to complete. I carry Sophie with me as one of the series' quiet arguments for the kind of attraction that grows from recognition rather than display. Schneider recognizes something in her: a practicality, a lack of neediness, a capacity to occupy space without demanding that the space rearrange itself around her. The recognition is not dramatic. It is the recognition of a man who has been performing largeness for so long that he has almost forgotten what it feels like to be simply interested. Interest, in this context, becomes a form of humility. It requires the admission that the previous criteria might have been incomplete. The Lodge dance invitation, if it comes, will not resolve everything. Schneider will still be Schneider. The comic mask will still be available when he needs it. And yet the possibility that he might choose Sophie, that he might walk into the annual gathering with a woman who knows the teeth of a hacksaw blade and the smell of a failing outlet, suggests a version of the character that has room to grow beyond the established limits. The suggestion is enough. The series has always been more interested in the opening of possibility than in the forced completion of transformation. Sophie de Giglio enters the story with a hardware store heart and leaves it for now as the quiet catalyst of a man's possible softening. The softening is not finished. It may never be finished. What matters is that it has begun, and that the beginning took the form of ordinary competence, meeting ordinary loneliness and finding against the usual odds a form of kinship neither party was entirely prepared for. I remain grateful for the kinship, and for the script's willingness to let it remain unfinished, alive and still capable of rearranging the furniture of a man who thought he had already settled the question of what he wanted. There are experiments that begin as jokes and end as measurements of the self. The floating bowling ball is one of those experiments. $5 on the question of whether a dense manufactured sphere will defy the ordinary rules of water. Schneider makes the bet on a night that was supposed to belong to Maxine and somehow becomes a night shadowed by Sophie. He wins the money and loses something less tangible, the automatic certainty that his previous criteria for choosing a woman still apply. The wet walk back from the lake, the squishing shoes, the slightly abashed retelling of the story, these are the early symptoms of a compass that has begun to swing. I have made similar bets with myself. I have arranged evenings according to the old reliable patterns and found the patterns suddenly insufficient. The insufficiency rarely announces itself with clarity. It arrives as a small restlessness, a sense that the conversation is happening in the wrong key, a private comparison that will not stop forming even when I order it to stop. Schneider is in the grip of that restlessness. The script allows us to watch it work on him without forcing an overnight conversion. The compass swings. It does not yet settle. The lumber yard is the geographical expression of the swing. Sophie has mentioned that she loves the smell of fresh pine. Schneider, who has spent years cultivating a different set of romantic locations, the lodge, the piano bar, the carefully chosen restaurant, finds himself transporting another woman to a place that exists primarily because of the first woman's preference. The substitution is almost transparent. He is already trying to live inside Sophie's sensory world while still maintaining the public structure of a date with Maxine. The attempt is clumsy and revealing. When he returns to the apartment wet and full of the story itself has become a form of courtship conducted at one remove. What the writing captures with particular care is the language Schneider uses as the compass begins to move. Looks are not that important. Personality matters. The statements are not yet fully inhabited. They are being tested the way one tests a new tool to see whether the grip will hold under real pressure. When he says them in front of Barbara and Anne, the women who know him best, their response is a mixture of amusement and cautious hope. They have watched him pursue the flashier option for years. They are not yet ready to believe the pursuit is ending. Their skepticism is a form of care. It refuses to let him off the hook of his own history too easily. The question of worth sits at the center of the shift. For a long time, Schneider has measured romantic success partly by the envy it generates among the Lodge brothers. The gorgeous date is not only a companion, she is evidence. Evidence of taste, of status, of the ability to attract what other men have agreed is valuable. Sophie does not function as that kind of evidence. She will not automatically generate the same commentary. Choosing her would require Schneider to accept a different form of worth, one that lives more in the private recognition of kinship than in the public performance of acquisition. The requirement is larger than it first appears. It asks him to revise the terms by which he has learned to value himself. I keep returning to the moment when Schneider asks almost to himself what is happening to his sense of values. The question is not rhetorical. It is the sound of a man noticing that the internal architecture is moving and not yet knowing whether the movement is growth or loss. I have asked similar questions in the middle of my own revisions. The asking is uncomfortable because it implies that the previous values were incomplete. And incompleteness is difficult to accept when the previous values have provided a workable identity for years. Schneider's identity has been workable. It has given him a place in the building, a role among the Beavers, a series of evenings that followed a predictable and manageable script. Sophie threatens the predictability. The threat is also an invitation. The poker game intensifies the invitation. Sophie sits among the Lodge regulars and proceeds to win with the calm of someone who learned the game in a place where winters were long and the alternatives limited. The men begin to speak of her as one of the boys. The designation is meant as praise. It is also a containment. To call her one of the boys is to place her inside a category. Schneider already understands, a category that does not require him to expand his sense of what a woman can be in his life, and yet the containment fails. Sophie remains stubbornly herself, capable of cleaning out the table and also of hoping quietly for the Lodge dance invitation. The combination continues to exert its pressure on Schneider's previously stable measurements. When Barbara presses him on the choice between Sophie and the more conventional option, his defensiveness is the defensiveness of a man who is already further along in the shift than he is ready to admit. He claims he is only thinking about asking Sophie. He cites the roughness of the Lodge dances, the need for a SWAT team to park cars, the implication that Sophie might be too fine for the environment. The cited reasons are not entirely false. They are also not the real ones. The real reason is that choosing Sophie would require him to walk into the annual gathering as a slightly different man, the man who prioritizes the hardware store heart over the more obvious currency of surface. That man has not yet been fully rehearsed. The rehearsal is what these days are for. There is a particular loneliness that accompanies the shifting of a compass. The old directions no longer feel reliable and the new ones have not yet been proven under enough different conditions. Schneider is living inside that loneliness even as he continues to perform the larger, noisier version of himself. The performance becomes in these pages slightly more effortful. The jokes still arrive. The theories about men and women still make their appearances. And yet the energy behind them feels different, less like pure self-expression and more like a man keeping the familiar machinery running while he tries to understand what the new machinery might require. I have lived inside similar periods of revision. The old criteria for choosing people, for measuring success, for deciding what constitutes a night well spent, these criteria do not dissolve cleanly. They linger. They offer themselves as safer alternatives when the new direction feels too exposed. Schneider keeps Maxine available as that safer alternative. The availability is not cruelty. It is the ordinary human reluctance to burn a bridge before the new territory has been fully surveyed. The script allows him the reluctance without condemning it. The allowance feels like a form of respect for how slowly certain changes actually occur. The floating bowling ball remains for me the perfect emblem of the entire movement. An object that should sink. A bet that it will not. A man standing in water that was not part of the original plan, discovering that the ordinary rules are more flexible than he had assumed. Schneider wins the $5 and loses the cleaner narrative of his own preferences. The loss is the beginning of something. Whether the something will be allowed to continue is still at this point in the story an open question. The openness is what makes the pages feel alive. What the writing understands is that the question of worth is never only about the other person. It is about the self that does the valuing. When Schneider begins to suspect that Sophie might be worth more than the established criteria would predict, he is also beginning to suspect that he himself might be capable of a different kind of wanting, one less dependent on the mirror of other men's envy. The suspicion is destabilizing. It is also the closest thing to growth the character has been offered in some time. The series does not force the growth to completion. It simply places Schneider at the edge of it and lets him stand there, wet shoes and all, considering the view. The lodge dance invitation, if it is eventually offered, will not resolve the larger question. Schneider will still carry the old compass in his pocket. He will still know how to perform the version of himself that prioritizes flash. And yet the fact that he is now capable of asking the question, "What is happening to my sense of values?" suggests that the compass has already begun to move in ways that cannot be entirely reversed. The movement is the point. The destination remains for now unmapped. I carry this particular stretch of Schneider's story with me as a reminder that the most significant shifts often announce themselves through absurdity: a bowling ball that floats, a lumberyard that becomes a site of courtship, $5 bet that turns into a referendum on the self. The absurdity does not diminish the significance. It makes the significance bearable. Schneider is not delivering speeches about personal growth. He is simply living through the early, uncomfortable stages of a revision he did not fully choose and cannot fully control. The living is awkward and comic and occasionally tender. It is also, in its ordinary way, one of the more honest portraits of change the series ever offered. The shoes eventually dry. The $5 is spent or saved. The lodge dance approaches with its usual mixture of promise and potential chaos. And Schneider continues to stand in the middle of his shifting measurements, trying to decide whether the new direction is a loss of the self he has built or the beginning of a self he has not yet fully met. The decision is not finished. The swinging of the compass continues. I remain grateful for the continuation, and for the script's willingness to let a man remain in the uncomfortable middle for as long as the middle actually takes.